press the button, so we should be live. And we are freaking live. Let's go. You love to see it. Hello, hello, people of the internet that are here. Welcome back to this, whatever the hell this is. We're gonna be reading more Percy Jackson, obviously. I didn't do a short again today, which is something I should have done, so people know that I'm streaming, like more people, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is, I guess. When was the last time that I notified the people of TikTok and YouTube Shorts that I'm freaking doing anything? When was the last time I made one about that? Yeah, whatever. 1 second. The last time I made one was 4 days ago. That's the last time I streamed, I think. So we're fine. Is it the last time I streamed? Let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking through some shit. Waiting for see people joining the chat or whatever. I have no idea. But yes, I've only read one chapter since last we've last seen each other. What that chapter is, we will talk about, because it was pretty crazy. I'm kind of shocked you guys didn't want to read that one on stream, but it's whatever. Yeah, that was the last one. Okay, this stream is definitely gonna be longer than that one by a lot. We got, or it's I don't know, maybe the page count is less. I have absolutely no idea. I honestly only know you were going to stream from YouTube preview. I know, but I know some people. I know it doesn't work the greatest thing in the world, but what is it? I know I've seen people be like, I saw your short, now I'm here. So I know it works a little bit, which is why I like to do it. But hello, Anthony Belding, welcome in. I need you here to do these things now. It's kind of what the thing is. Like if I'm streaming and Anthony Belding's not here, the stream's getting canceled. That's just what it's about to be. But yes, welcome in. It's always nice to have you. About to be reading the last 5 chapters. Out of the Labyrinth, 16 through 20, because that's the ones you guys told me to read on stream. 15 was crazy, though. 15 was absolutely insane. Usually it says finishing Percy Jackson, whatever, and starting Percy Jackson, whatever the fuck. That's not what we're doing this time. We are just going to finish this, and then it's going to wrap up, because I have Demigod files to read off screen, and then we're going to start The Last Olympian when I get back. Probably like in a day or two. Like it's not gonna take me that much time to read Demigod Files at all. Not a very long book, and I'm just really excited to get into the Last Olympian. So yeah, I didn't ask for 15 because I already asked for like the 14, 16. So that's kind of a lot. This is true. This is fair. I want to check around that chapter, but didn't want to overwhelm you. You know? Yeah. And then he gets in. Okay. Let's go, I caught a stream finally. I love it when people say that. That's so funny. Welcome in, Ihawa. I don't know how that name is supposed to be pronounced. I think you just did a bunch of random shit on your thing and then you made that. But still, nice to have you. I'm glad you finally caught a stream. It's nice to have you here. I'll just say Iha if I ever read your comment ever again. If I'm not here, I'm dead, or my internet is out. One of those two. Good to see. But yes, chapter 15 was freaking crazy. They finally found Daedalus's thing, but Quintus was just Daedalus all along, which I think was one of my theories. I'm pretty sure I said that last time. Quintus was Daedalus all along. He was Agatha all along, and it was Daedalus all along. Basically that, and then Nico comes in, and then they basically like get walked in, and Daedalus was like, yeah, I'm Quintus, but I'm good. Actually, I'm evil, and I helped Luke, and he's on his way with the string right now. So yeah, that was the thing that happened. And then, so he's evil, but he's actually not. Hold on. Let me fix this. Oh crap, hold on, fuck. I almost fucked up my whole setup. I almost knocked over my entire computer just then. Or did I fuck it up? Hold on, is my thing frozen? No, my thing is I did fuck it up. My thing is definitely frozen. 1 second. Hold on. Did it? Let's see if I can fix this. No, I don't want to allow it on Discord. Thank you very much. Hey, computer. Can you fix the camera? Hey, just in time. Hey, it's Bonnie Faye. I'm having some technical issues because I'm an idiot. Give me a second. Yeah, I just smashed my keyboard. You'll love to see it. God damn it. Why did I do this? Oh, wait, hold on. Let's just... That's what we're gonna do. Give me a second. God damn it. Why am I dumb? Everything would be so much easier if I wasn't stupid. Okay. Plug that back in. Playa. And it's not working. Crap. Dude really said dying is for bitches and created a new body. I know. Why is this not working? Am I gonna have to like stop and restart the stream? Is that what's about to happen? I feel like that's what I might need to do, just because. Oh, I'm an idiot. Why did I feel like my computer? I all of a sudden felt like my computer was too far away. I needed to pull it closer. Okay, well, that's what we'll do. We'll leave it like that. I'm sorry. Hold on. Fuck. Is there no other way to fix this? Are you shitting me right now? Great. Hold on. Try one more thing. And bam, nothing. Give me a second. I'm gonna stop until the stream. I'm gonna be right back. I don't think there's another way to fix this. Hold on, fuck. Hold on. Did it work? Did I do something cool? Oh my god, I'm the coolest person in history. Did you get Noah's bad luck with cameras? I did. I clearly got Noah's bad luck with cameras. That is the only thing that just happened. But it worked. Oh my god. The stream didn't even stop. This is the same stream. I'm a god of YouTube. That's just what happened. That's basically what you've just witnessed. But yeah, what was I talking about? But yeah, Daedalus was evil, but I'm not. He gave Luke the thing. Luke's on the way to Camp Half-Blood. Then Minos is finally like, yeah, I'm fucking evil, bitch. Haha, Nico, I've been tricking you this whole time. I'm the Ghost King. And Nico was like, no, I'm the Ghost King? And then he cut the ground open and they fell through it and shit. That was awesome. And then they stole the Tartarus wings and Quintus was like getting cut up and he was like probably about to die, probably. And then they flew out. And that's the last thing I read. Which was a pretty hype chapter. It was pretty freaking sick. Alright. We got our Percy Jackson essentials as well. We have this jug of water that I only drink on stream. So I don't know when I'll finish it. And the official chip of Percy Jackson that I discovered that existed in my pantry yesterday. Not yesterday, the last time I streamed. So that's what we have with us. And Davis was like, yeah, I'm actually bad. Good luck, no. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Also, I don't think I said hi to Mugetsu. Hello, Mugetsu. I apologize for not saying hi to you. Welcome in. Or Mugets. I don't know. Bleach is confusing to me, but I'm pretty sure that's a Bleach thing. I can't zoom in on your profile picture to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that's like an Ichigo thing. I'm not sure. God of the sea, ain't shit. God of the internet, the fixer of cameras. Yes, me, fixer. I'm the god of cameras. Bow down. Yeah, I wish. That'd be actually kind of cool. The power to see through all cameras. That's kind of creepy. Never mind. All right, let me get the thing up. The pro streamer setup thing. Every single time I don't think about it every time I turn the stream off, and every time I get back on the stream, I'm like, dang, I should have done something really cool. Maybe I'll blow your minds for the last Olympian. Maybe that's what'll happen. But probably not, though. I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably forget again. Bam, boom, look at me go. Pro YouTuber moment. Alright. Now, that's a classic Halo Master Chief poster. What is? No, the Mugetsu thing? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. I haven't played Halo. But, I know Mugetsu is like a Bleach thing, though. It's like Ichigo's final Getsuga Tenshin is what he says, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. But we don't have much to talk about this time, so I don't have a lot of preamble to do. We got a lot of people here. Very excited. The end of Battle of the Labyrinth. I'm really excited to see how this one ends. I think this ending is gonna like I feel like this ending is set up is gonna like freaking go crazy to me. I feel like that's how it is. But We got probably a long stream ahead of us, or a short one. But this, you cannot deny the thickness of what is left over in this book. Like, I don't know exactly how many pages it is, so it might actually be less pages than what I read last time, because the pages sometimes get shorter, and I don't think there are too many. I think there are probably like 50 pages left. We probably read more than that last time, so it might be shorter. Oh, Nico calling himself the Ghost King? Nah, that was fire. Nah, that was dope, for sure. I need Percy to call himself something cool. I need Percy to get an official cool epithet. Like, the king with wings of black is cool, but I need an official one, like, in the story. I need that soon. Like, Son of Poseidon is cool, but everybody has a son of thing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Prince of the Sea or some shit. I don't know idea. Come on, give me something cool. But we got this much left. Alright. Let's take my first swig of the stream. And we will get into Son of Earthshaker. Son of the Earthshaker is pretty badass. I will not lie. I forgot about that one. I forgot he was called that. The king of wetness in both sea and women is crazy. That's not about to happen. But alright. Let's just get right into it, because we got a lot to cover, so I'm excited. Chapter 17 is something you've been waiting for. Oh, okay. Alright, yeah, let's go, because everybody knows that 17 comes right after 16, or you should know that if you went to high school, or any school at all. But yeah, let's go. Jumping out of a window 500 feet above ground is not usually my idea of fun. That's usually my idea of fun, I'm not gonna lie, Percy. Especially when I'm wearing a bronze wings and flapping my arms like a duck. I was pretty sure I was going to become a grease spot in the Garden of the Gods. As Annabeth yelled from somewhere above me, "Spread your arms, keep them extended!" The small part of my brain that wasn't engulfed in panic heard her, and my arms responded. As soon as I spread out, the wings stiffened and caught the wind, and my descent slowed. I soared downward, but at a controlled angle like a kite in a dive. Experimentally, I flapped my arms once. I arched in the sky, and the wind whistled in my ears. "Yeah!" I yelled. Let's go. I could totally picture that in the show. I can totally picture Percy like be like, "Hell yeah!" to fly. That's so dope. The feeling was unbelievable. After getting the hang of it, I felt like the wings were part of my body. I could soar and swoop and dive anywhere I wanted to. I turned and saw my friends, Rachel, Annabeth, and Nico. Imagine Rachel literally a day after finding out the other world is real and visiting it. She's fucking flying and shit. What? That's a crazy adventure for just a regular mortal. This is a crazy for a demigod adventure, you know what I mean? Spiraling above me. I love that he still includes Nico and his friends, though. That's so great. Glinting in the sunlight. Behind them, smoke billowed from the windows of Daedalus' workshop. "Land!" Annabeth yelled. "These wings won't last forever." "How long?" Rachel cried. "I don't want to find out," Annabeth said. We swooped down toward the Garden of the Gods. I did a complete circle around one of the rock spires and freaked out a couple of climbers. And the four of us soared across the valley, over a road, and landed on the terrace of the visitor center. It was late afternoon, and the place looked pretty cool, but we ripped off our wings as quickly as we could. Looking at them, I could see Annabeth was right. The self-adhesive seals that bound the wings to our backs were already melting, and we were shedding bronze feathers. It seemed a shame, but we couldn't fix them, and we couldn't leave them around for mortals. So we stuffed the wings in the trash bin outside the cafeteria. Hold on. Yeah, out of the cafeteria. I used the Taurus binocular camera to look up at the hill where Daedalus' workshop had been, but it had vanished. No more smoke, no broken windows, just the side of a hill. The workshop moved, Annabeth guessed. There's no telling where. "So what do we do now?" I asked. "How do we get back in the maze?" "You don't need to get back in the maze. You've completed the quest. You found Daedalus' workshop." "Well, you kind of do, because Grover and Tyson are still in there." Annabeth gazed at the summit of Pike's Peak in the distance. "Maybe we can't. If Daedalus died, he said his life was tied to the maze. The whole thing might have been destroyed. Maybe that will stop Luke's invasion." I thought about Grover and Tyson still down there. Somewhere. In Daedalus. Even though he'd done some terrible things, with everybody I cared about at risk, it still seemed like a pretty horrible way to die. "No," Nico said. "He isn't dead." "How can you be sure?" I asked. Yeah, Nico would know. Nico would know for sure. I know when people die. It's this feeling I get, like a buzzing in my ears. Oof. He's like a live kill counter in his head going off every single time somebody dies. It's where Percy finally wakes up from his coma. Yeah, the last Olympian is the name of the psych ward he's at. Another example of Zeus being all talk, not blasting Percy out of the sky here. Well, Percy has clearly saved the world twice. He has saved Olympus twice. So, we saved Olympus once, and he saved a god twice, and he's in the middle of saving. So, Zeus knows Percy is his, like, basically his top soldier right now in the battle against Kronos. You know what I mean? So, I don't think Zeus is going to actively do that anymore. I think that was just, like, a thing when he thought Percy was, like, stealing his bolt, but he since goes, he's since gone, I'm not going to shoot my nephew out of the sky, so that's what I'm going to do. Second, yeah. What about Grover and Tyson then? Nico shook his head. That's harder. They're not humans or half-bloods. They don't have mortal souls. That's so interesting. So Nico can strongly sense mortal souls, but not like monster souls, which are Nico and Tyson's. They're more akin to spirits, nature spirits. We have to get into town, Annabeth decided. Our chances will be better off finding an entrance to the labyrinth. We have to make it back to camp before Luke and his army. We could just take a plane, Rachel said. I don't fly. but you just did. That's low flying, I said. And even that's risky. Okay, that's low flying. It's not like it's not like Icarus flying. It's not like audacious flying. I think it's like Percy's in the sky, and then Zeus goes, What'd you do? And then Percy's like, I'm going down, bud. I'm going down, chill. Like that's pretty much I think what that is. Like Zeus is like, okay, you don't have that. You're just using it to stay alive. Okay, we're not about to, like he's not audacious. And even that's crazy. Flying up really high. That's Zeus's territory. I can't do it. I love that. It's just a fun little detail that Percy just can't fly, except when he's on horseback. That's like the only thing. We don't even have time for a flight. The labyrinth is the quickest way back. I didn't want to say it, but I was also hoping that maybe, just maybe, we could find Grover and Tyson along the way. So we need a car to take us into the city, Annabeth said. Rachel down into the parking lot. She grimaced as if she were about to do something she regretted. I'll take care of it. How? Annabeth asked. Just trust me. Annabeth looked uneasy, but she nodded. Okay, I'm going to buy a prism in the gift shop. Try to make a rainbow and send an iris message to camp. I'll go with you, Nico said. I'm hungry. Yo, Nico is officially part of the squad. Let's go. I'll stick with Rachel, I said. Meet you guys in the parking lot. Rachel frowned like she didn't want me with her. That made me feel kind of bad, but I followed her down to the parking lot anyway. She headed toward a big black car parked at the end of the lot. It was a chauffeured Lexus, like the kind I always saw driving around Manhattan. The driver was out front, reading a newspaper. He wore a dark suit and a tie. What are you going to do? I asked Rachel. Just wait here, she said miserably. Please. Rachel marched straight up to the driver and talked to him. He frowned. Rachel said something. He turned pale and hastily folded out his magazine. He nodded and fumbled for his cell phone. Rachel is rich. Rachel is rich as fuck. Rachel is rich as fuck. Other than the lightning thief, I don't think Zeus would actually kill Percy. He's just puffing his chest. Probably not. I don't think he would actually do that. Because he knows Percy's like, he knows who Percy is. He knows Percy's on his side. He knows he's like actively rallying the demigods against Kronos. He wouldn't do any of that. So, that's just not a thing he would do. Yeah. Okay, hold on. But Rachel's super rich. That's like, what's going on? After he nodded and fumbled for his cell phone. After a brief call, he opened the back door of the car for Rachel to get in. She pointed back in my direction, and the driver bobbed his head some more. Like, yes, ma'am, whatever you want. I couldn't figure out why he was acting so flustered. Rachel came back to get me just as Nico and Annabeth appeared from the gift shop. I talked to Chiron, Annabeth said. They're doing their best to prepare for the battle. He still wants us back. They're going to need every hero they can get. Did we find a ride? The drivers are doing we are, Rachel said. The chauffeur was now talking to another guy in khakis and a polo shirt, probably his client who rented the car. The client was complaining, but I could hear the driver saying, "I'm sorry, sir. Emergency. I've ordered another car for you." Who is this girl? "Come on," Rachel said. She led us to the car and got in without even looking at the flustered guy who rented it. A minute later, we were cruising down the road. The seats were leather. There was plenty of legroom. The back seat had flat panel TVs built into the headset, and a mini fridge stocked with a bottled water, sodas, and snacks. We started picking out. "Where to, Miss Dare?" the driver asked. "I'm not sure yet, Robert," she said. "We just need to drive through town and look around." "Whatever you say, miss." I looked at Rachel. "Do you know this guy?" "No. But he dropped everything to help you. Why?" "Just keep your eyes peeled," she said. "Help me look." Which didn't exactly answer my question. We drove through Colorado Springs for about half an hour and saw nothing that Rachel considered a possible labyrinth entrance. I was very aware of Rachel's shoulder pressing against mine. I kept wondering who she was exactly, and how she could walk up to a random chauffeur and immediately got a ride. Yeah, I'm wondering too. I honestly think he would, given the context. I don't think so. And I don't think so. Just because, I mean, he obviously didn't. So, like, he wouldn't. But, like, I don't think so because he knows, like, Percy. Like I said, he knows him. He's like, "I know you're on my side, kid. Like, you're trying to help me. Zeus isn't that stupid that he's gonna, like, kill his, like, basically the general of his army at this point." After about an hour, we decided to head north toward Denver, thinking that maybe a bigger city would be more likely to have a labyrinth entrance. We were all getting nervous. We were losing time. Then right as we were leaving Colorado Springs, Rachel sat bolt upright. "Get off the highway." The driver glanced back. "Miss? I saw something. I think. Get off here." The driver swerved across traffic and took the exit. "What did you see?" I asked, because we were pretty much out of the city now. There wasn't anything around except hills, grassland, and some scattered farmland. Rachel, the driver, turned down this unpromising dirt road. We drove by a sign too fast for me to read it, but Rachel said, "Western Museum of Mining and Industry." For a museum, it didn't look like much. A little house like an old-fashioned railroad station, some drills and pumps, and old steam shovels on display outside. "There," Rachel pointed to a hole in the side of a nearby hill. A tunnel that was boarded up and chained. An old mine entrance. "A door to the labyrinth?" Annabeth asked. "How can you be sure?" "Well, look at it," Rachel said. "I mean, I can see it okay." She thanked the driver and we all got out. He didn't ask for money or anything. "Are you sure it'll be alright, Miss Dare? I'd be happy to call your—" "No," Rachel said. "No, really. Thanks, Robert, but we're fine." The museum seemed to be closed, so nobody bothered us as we climbed the hill to the mine shaft. When we got to the entrance, I saw the mark of Daylight engraved on the padlock. Though how Rachel had seen something so tiny from all the way to the highway, I had no idea. I touched the padlock and the chains fell away. We kicked down a few boards and walked inside. For better or worse, we were back in the labyrinth. Dang, simple as that. Rachel flexed her rich muscles and Personally, I think Poseidon would be mad, but Percy is just another demigod child in the grander scope of things. Yes, usually I would agree, but they're at a time where Kronos is paramount to come back. They're at a time where Kronos is like, and this was like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? And Luke wasn't a threat, and everything that is happening wasn't happening. I feel like, yeah, Zeus would strike him down, but because of like what they're in now with Kronos, like basically he's about to come back. Like they're kind of he's not thinking the same way, I would imagine, right? Hold on. Yeah, the gods care about the prophecy. Exactly, they do. So they like, Percy has the chance to save Olympus. If they fuck with that, they fuck with it. You know what I mean? Okay. Where was I? The dirt tunnels turned to stone. They wound around and split off and basically tried to confuse us, but Rachel had no trouble guiding us. We told her we needed to get back to New York, and she hardly even paused when the tunnels offered a choice. To my surprise, Rachel and Annabeth started up a conversation as we walked. Annabeth asked her more about her background, but Rachel was evasive. She started talking about architecture. It turned out that Rachel knew something about it from studying art. They talked about different facades and the buildings from New York. Have you seen this? Have you seen this one? Blah blah blah. So I hung back and walked next to Nico in uncomfortable silence. Thanks for coming after us, I told him at last. Oh, I've been waiting for this conversation. I've been waiting for the Nico-Percy conversation. They're wary of Percy too. Save a raise. Yes, of course. Even though I haven't heard the full prophecy yet, so I don't know exactly what it says. I'm assuming we don't find that out until the last time. If anything, Zeus killing Percy would probably send a lot of half-bloods to Kronos' army. This is true. And I think Zeus knows that. That would definitely happen. Nico's eyes narrowed. He didn't seem as angry as he used to. Just suspicious, careful. I owed you for the ranch, Percy. Plus, I wanted to see Daedalus for myself. Minos was right in a way. Daedalus should die. Nobody should be able to avoid death that long. It's not natural. I love the son of death's perspective on death. It's so cool. That's what you were. That's what you were after all. That's what you were after all along. I said, trading Daedalus' soul for your sister's. Nico walked for another 50 yards before answering. It hasn't been easy, you know. That's so interesting. That's so interesting that he would do that. Ah man, trading Daedalus' soul for his sister's. Like, I just love that reveal that it wasn't Percy, it was this guy all along, and it makes perfect sense with everything. Rick is just becoming a much stronger writer. I've noticed since Titans of Course, he's becoming a much stronger writer, so everything is connecting together a lot better in these later books. So I'm really excited to see how strong his writing gets in the later books, like in the second series. That's what I'm really excited to see. Hold on. Nico walked for another 50 yards before answering. It hasn't been easy, you know, having only the dead for company, knowing that I'll never be accepted by the living. Only the dead respect me, and they only do that out of fear. You could be accepted, I said. You could have friends at camp. He stared at me. Do you really believe that, Percy? I didn't answer. The truth was, I didn't know. Nico had always been a little different, but since Bianca's death, he'd gotten almost scary. He had his father's eyes, that intense manic fire that made you suspect he was either a genius or a madman. And the way he banished Manos and called him himself the king of ghosts. He's just gotten edgy and cool. He's just become edgy and cool. And people hate to see you get edgy and cool. They hate to see you flex. You know, Nico's just flexing on him. He's just that bad now. It was kind of impressive, but it made me uncomfortable too. Oh, I love that. Before I could figure out what to tell him, I ran into Rachel, who'd stopped in front of me. We'd come to a crossroads. The tunnel continued straight ahead, but a side tunnel teed off to the right. A circular shaft carved from the black volcanic rock. What is it? I asked. Rachel stared down the dark tunnel in the dim flashlight beam. Her face looked like one of Nico's specters. Is that the way? Annabeth asked. No, Rachel said, nervously. Not at all. Why are we stopping then? I asked. Listen, Nico said. I heard wind coming down the tunnel, as if the exit were close, and I smelled something vaguely familiar, something that brought back bad memories. Eucalyptus trees, I said, like in California. Last winter, when we faced Luke and the Titan Atlas on top of Mount Tamalpais, the air had smelled just like that. There's something evil down that tunnel, Rachel said. Something very powerful. And the smell of death. I love God Kid lines in their God shit. It always sounds so cool. Nico added, which made me feel a whole lot better. Annabeth and I exchanged glances. Luke's entrance, she guessed. The one to Mount Orthus, the Titan's palace. I had to check it out, I said. Percy, no! Luke could be right there, I said. Or Kronos. I have to find out what's going on. Annabeth hesitated. Then we'll all go. No, I said. It's too dangerous. If they got hold of Nico or Rachel for that matter, Kronos could use them. You stay here and guard them. What I didn't say, I was also worried about Annabeth. I didn't trust what she would do if she saw Luke again. He had fooled her and manipulated her too many times before. Percy, don't, Rachel said. Don't go up there alone. I'll be quick, I promised. I won't do anything stupid. Annabeth took her Yankees cap out of her pocket. At least take this, and be careful. Thanks. I remember the last time Annabeth and I parted ways, when she'd given me a kiss for luck in the Mount St. Helens. This time, all I got was the hat. He's like, damn, I've downgraded from kiss to hat. That's so sad. Oh, Bonnie, you've deleted some shit. That's interesting. I like how the soul he wanted to trade was not out of anger or vengeance, but it goes against the natural order of life. Yeah, that's true. Third series, our personal favorite, is some of his best writing. Welcome in, Cabin 7. It's nice to have you once again. And honestly, that is the first thing I've ever heard about Trials of Apollo. That is the first thing. I don't know anything about Trials of Apollo, so do me a favor, try to keep the mentions of it to a minimum, because I know a lot less about Trials of Apollo than anything else in the series. So I'm a bit excited. Honestly, I was thinking, do people not like it because I've heard nobody mention it? But it's some of his best. I trust your judgment, so I'm excited to get to that one. I accidentally spoiled my bad. Glad you didn't notice. Well, thank you for deleting it. Even though it was because Minos wanted him to do it out of anger, Nico only agreed to it because he thought it was wrong. Yeah, he didn't seek out Percy's soul out of vengeance, but also it's also because he didn't see Percy's soul as fit to trade. You know what I mean? He's like he didn't want to. He thought it was disgusting. Nico is the Ghost King for sure. Like, cabin literally is about my father, Apollo. Oh, cabin 7 is Apollo cabin. I did not put that together. That's cool. I like that. I put it on. Here goes nothing, and I sneaked invisibly down the dark stone tunnel. I don't think that's how you say that sentence, Percy, but I trust that you would say it that way because you're 15 years old at this point. Or is he 14? They never really told us. I'm pretty sure he's still 14, though. Before I even got to the exit, I heard voices. The growing, barking sounds of sea demon smiths, the Telkenes. At least we've salvaged the blade, one said. The master will still reward us. Yes, yes, a second shrieked. Rewards beyond measure. Another voice, this one more human, said, yeah. Well, that's great. Now if you're done with me, no, Half-Blood, a Telkene said. You must help us. Make the presentation. It is a great honor. Gee, thanks, Half-Blood said, and I realized it was Ethan Nakamura. I was waiting to see when Ethan would come back, because he just kind of dipped on us in the beginning of chapter 15, but he's back immediately. Cool. The guy who'd run away after I'd saved his life in the arena. I crept toward the end of the tunnel. I had to remind myself I was invisible. They shouldn't be able to see me. A blast of cold air hit me as I emerged. I was standing near the top of Mount Tam. The Pacific Ocean spread out below, gray under a cloudy sky. About 20 feet downhill, two Telkenes were placing something on a big rock. Something long and thin, wrapped in black cloth. Ethan was helping them out. Careful, fool, the Telkene scolded. One touch of the blade will sever your soul from your body. Whoa. What blade is this? We still don't know what Stygian steel does, or Stygian iron does, right? I'm pretty sure we don't know, so maybe this is a Stygian iron blade? We don't even know where Nico got it. Ethan swallowed nervously. Maybe they'll let you unwrap it then. I glanced up at the mountain's peak, where a black marble fortress loomed, just like I'd seen in my dreams. It reminded me of an oversized mausoleum, with the walls 50 feet high. I had no idea how mortals could miss the fact that it was here, but then again, everything below the summit seemed fuzzy to me, as if there were a thick veil between me and the lower half of the mountain. There was magic going on here, really powerful mist. Above me, the sky swirled into a huge funnel cloud. I couldn't see Atlas, but I could hear him groaning in the distance, still laboring under the weight of the sky, just beyond the fortress. There, the Telkene said, reverently. He lifted the weapon and my blood turned to ice. It was a scythe, a 6-foot long blade curved like a crescent moon. With a wooden handle, wrapped in leather. The blade glinted two different colors, steel and bronze. It was the weapon of Kronos, the one he'd used to slice up his father, Uranus, before the gods had taken it away from him and cut Kronos to pieces, casting him into Tartarus. Now the weapon was reforged. I wonder if we'll ever fight Uranus. It would kind of be redundant, but I also would like him to be a villain. So that'd be pretty cool. So I wonder if we'll see that. Maybe that's Heroes of Olympus. I don't know. I have no idea. What is it? Yeah, we must sanctify it in blood, the Telkany said. Then you, Half-Blood, shall help present it when the Lord awakes. When the Lord awakes. I ran toward the fortress, my pulse pounding in my ears. I didn't want to get anywhere close to that horrible black mausoleum, but I knew what I had to do. I had to stop Kronos from rising. This might be my only chance. I dashed through a dark foyer and into the main hall. The floor shined like a mahogany piano, pure black and yet full of light. Percy, remember what happened last time? Black marble statues lined the walls. I didn't recognize the faces, but I knew I was looking at images of titans who ruled before the gods. At the end of the room, between two bronze braziers, was a dais, and on the dais, the golden sarcophagus. The room was silent, except for the crackle of the fires. Luke wasn't there. No guards, nothing. It was too easy. But I approached the dais. This is the cover. This is the cover of the original freaking book. The original Battle of Labyrinth cover. The sarcophagus was just like I remembered, about 10 feet long, much too big for a human. It was carved with elaborate scenes of death and destruction. Pictures of the gods being trodden under their chariots, temples and famous world landmarks being smashed and burned. The old coffin gave off an aura of extreme cold, like I was walking into a freezer. My breath began to steam. I drew Riptide and took a little comfort from the familiar weight of the sword in my hand. Yeah, you haven't drawn Riptide for a few chapters. Whenever I had approached Kronos before, his evil voice had spoken in my mind. Why was he silent now? He'd been shredded to 1,000 pieces, cut with his own scythe. What would I find if I opened that lid? How could they make a new body for him? Automatons, maybe. I had no answer. I just knew that if he was about to rise, I had to strike him down before he got his scythe. I had to figure out a way to stop him. I stood over the coffin. The lid was decorated even more intricately than the sides with the scenes of carnage and power. In the middle was an inscription carved in letters, even older than Greek, a language of magic. I couldn't read exactly, but I knew what it said. Kronos, Lord of Time. Bro, if Kronos is the Lord of Time, if he uses powers, I don't know how his powers work, to be completely honest. I don't know if he can shift time or anything like that, but this is about to be crazy. Fighting Kronos is about to be insane if he can control time or whatever the shit. My hand touched the lid. My fingertips turned blue. Frost gathered on my sword. Dang, it's cold as fuck. Then I heard noises behind me. Voices approaching. It was now or never. I pushed back the golden lid, and it fell to the floor with a huge boom. I lifted my sword, ready to strike, but when I looked inside, I didn't comprehend what I was seeing. Mortal legs, dressed in gray pants, a white t-shirt, hands folded over his stomach. One piece of his chest was missing. A clean black hole about the size of a bullet wound, right where his heart should have been. His eyes were closed. His skin was pale, blonde hair and a scar running along his left side of his cheek. The body in the coffin was Luke's. What? What? Is Kronos about to possess Luke? Is that the only way he could come back? The fuck? Yeah, don't spoil any of it. Okay. I know some spoilers of TOA, but have no context so if we get to that, it will be fun. I'm excited. Yeah, I really want to get to it. Yeah, don't spoil any of it. Even though I read the books like 3 times. Percy's 14 right there. Yeah, I thought so. He'd be 14 because in the beginning he said it was June, and his birthday isn't until August. Yeah, he's 14 right now. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but in the Greek myth, Uranus fled the Earth after Kronos cut him out. Interesting. That's not really a spoiler. That's just Greek mythological lore. Like, anything you tell me about Greek mythology isn't really a spoiler, technically speaking, because, like, I can just go look that shit up. But I'm purposely not educating myself on, I wanted to learn a lot more about Greek mythology before I started reading, but I purposely didn't want to, because I knew that it would give me more context on the stories, and I wanted to be surprised of this bit. Like, I'm literally reading the DLC first before I've read the original story, and this is like, yeah, I wanted to be more shocked about other stuff. Just a fun thing to know, yeah. Dude went through Titan's Curse in the Battle Labyrinth in between birthdays. I know. Well, who else is ready for him to keep reading this part? What? Wait, what? Curtis, oh, you're excited for this bit? Yeah, I honestly, you guys were hyped for 16 through 20, so I'm not shocked. Cronus has the power to make the wait at the DMV even longer. God, that's terrible. Even the Joker works at the DMV because he knows it's the worst, most evil place on Earth. Bro, yeah, but is Luke's body the one Kronos is about to take? Like, what? I should have stabbed him right then. I should have brought the point of Riptide down with all my strength, but I was too stunned. I didn't understand. As much as I hated Luke, as much as he had betrayed me, I just didn't get why he was in the coffin, and why he looked so very, very dead. And the voices of the telekinesis were right behind me. What has happened? One of the demons screamed when he saw the lid. I stumbled away from the dais, forgetting that I was invisible, and hid behind the column as they approached. Careful, the demon warned. Perhaps he stirs. We must present the gifts now, immediately. The two telekinesis shuffled forward and knelt, holding up the scythe on its wrapping cloth. My lord, one said, your symbol of power is remade. Silence. Nothing happened in the coffin. You fool, the other telekinesis muttered. He acquires the half-blood first. Ethan stepped back. Whoa, what do you mean he requires me? Yeah, you didn't know? You kind of had to die and stuff. You kind of left that part. You didn't read the fine print in the contract, did you? Oof. Well, you already signed. Don't be a coward, the first telekinesis. He doesn't require your death, only your allegiance. Pledge him your service. Renounce the gods. That is all. No! I yelled. It was a stupid thing to do, but I charged into the room and took off the cap. Ethan, don't! Trespasser! The telekinesis bared their seal teeth. The master will deal with you soon. Hurry, boy! Ethan, I pleaded, don't listen to them. Help me destroy it. Ethan turned toward me, his eye patch blending in with the shadows on his face. His expression was something like pity. I told you not to spare me, Percy. An eye for an eye. Who took your eye? You ever hear that saying? I learned what it means the hard way, when I discovered my godly parent. I'm the child of Nemesis, goddess of revenge. I did not know that Nemesis was a Greek term. That's really hard. That's hard as fuck. And this is what I was made to do. Damn, revenge is in his nature. I love that. He turned toward the dice. I renounce the gods. What have they ever done for me? I will see them destroyed. I will serve Kronos. Dang. Revenge. I love how revenge woke up Kronos. Revenge actually is Kronos' thing, and revenge, in essence, is the thing that willed him to rise. That's so cool. Like the like one of the only physical embodiments of revenge. Like Luke also wants revenge, but he captured a physical body revenge to ensure. That's so cool. That's so cool. He turned toward the no, I heard this one. The building rumbled. A wisp of blue light rose from the floor at Ethan Nakamura's feet. No fucking way, Kronos is about to wake up. No way, bro. Not the fine print. There are so many pages. I just spam agree. This is true. Man. Oof. The building rumbled. There's no way Kronos is about to wake up right now. There's no way Kronos is about to wake up right now, bro. It drifted toward the coffin and began to shimmer, like a cloud of pure energy. Then it descended into the sarcophagus. Luke sat, bolt upright. His eyes opened and they were no longer blue. They were golden, the same color as the coffin. Fuck. Did I just pull something? Everything seemed to be fine. I did, but it's fine. Okay, cool. Where was I? Yeah, okay. Same color as the coffin. The hole in his chest was gone. He was complete. He leaped out of the chest with ease, and where his feet touched the floor, the marble froze like craters of ice. He looked at Ethan and the Telcones with those horrible golden eyes. Dang, they really arrived at the perfect time. He really arrived at the perfect time to see Kronos rise, bro. He looked at Ethan and the Telcones with those horrible golden eyes as if he were a newborn baby, not sure what he was seeing. Then he looked at me, and a smile of recognition crept across his face. This body has been well prepared. His voice was like a razor blade running over my skin. It was Luke's, but not Luke's. Under his voice was another, more horrible sound. An ancient, cold sound, like a metal scraping against the rock. Don't you think so, Percy Jackson? I couldn't move. I couldn't answer. Kronos, he's no longer Luke. He's like, no more Dina, I am Zul. Like, he's literally Zul. Kronos threw back his head and laughed. The scar on his face rippled. Luke feared you. Really? The Titan's voice said. His jealousy and hatred had been powerful tools. It kept him obedient. For that, I thank you. Ethan collapsed in terror. He covered his face with his hands. The Telcones trembled, holding up the scythe. Finally, I found my nerve. I lunged at the thing that used to be Luke, thrusting my blade straight at his chest. But his skin deflected the blow like he was made of pure steel. What? He looked at me with amusement. Then he flickered. Then he really was about to kill Luke, like straight up. He looked at me with amusement. Then he flicked his hand, and I flew across the room. I slammed against a pillar and struggled to my feet. Blinking the stars out of my eyes, but Kronos had already grasped the handle of his scythe. Ah, much better, he said. Backbiter, Luke called it. An appropriate name. Now that it is reforged, it shall indeed bite back. Luke's sword was a fragment of Kronos' sword the whole time? Dude. Luke's sword was a fragment of Kronos' scythe the whole time. That's... What? 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 What have you done to Luke? I groaned. Kronos raised his scythe. He serves me with his whole being, as I require. The difference is, he feared you, Percy Jackson. I do not. That's when I ran. There wasn't even any thought to it. No debate in my mind about, gee, should I stand up to him and try to fight again? Nope, I simply ran. Dang. But my feet felt like lead. Time slowed down around me, like the world was turned into jello. There's no freaking way. There's no way. I'd had this feeling once before, and I knew it was the power of Kronos. His presence was so strong, it could bend time itself. Run, little hero, he laughed. Run. I glanced back and saw him, approaching leisurely, swinging aside as if he were enjoying the feeling of having it in his hands again. No weapon in the world could stop him, no amount of celestial bronze. He was 10 feet away when I heard, Percy! Dang, they did not listen. They did not listen. He said go! He said go! Something flew past me, and the blue plastic hairbrush hit Kronos in the eye. Ow, he yelled. Dang, plastic hairbrush hurt him? For a moment, it was only Luke's voice, full of surprise and pain. My limbs were freed, and I ran straight into Rachel and Nico and Annabeth, who were standing in the entry hall, their eyes widened with dismay. Luke, Annabeth called. What? I grabbed her by the shirt and hauled her after me. I ran as fast as I've ever run, straight out of the fortress. We were almost back into the Labyrinth entrance when I heard the loudest bellow in the world, the voice of Kronos coming back into control. After them! Wait, so are they in conflict for control? Is that what's happening? No! Nico yelled. He clapped his hands together, and a jagged spire of rock the size of the earth, of the size of an 18-wheeler erupted from the ground right in front of the fortress. The tremor it caused was so powerful, the front of the columns of the building came crashing down. I heard muffled screams from the Telkines inside. Dust billowed everywhere. We plunged into the labyrinth and kept running, the howl of the Titan Lord shaking the entire world behind us. Dang. And that's the end of the chapter. That's the end. What was this chapter called? I don't even remember what it was called. I opened a coffin. Dang. Dang. I did not even read... Honestly, I'm happy I didn't read the chapter title. I'm happy I didn't read the chapter title because I would have expected some stuff. I didn't expect anything. But Kronos came back. Kronos freaking came back. And... what is it? Kronos came back as Luke. It seems like they're fighting for control. Like it's not fully Kronos. But I did not expect it to be Luke. I expected it to be a much bigger dude. I expected his body. Like, but that's interesting. I wonder if we'll ever find out the semantics. Because I'm really confused about how Kronos was able, like how the whole system works. I hope they'll explain that to us. About how that even happened. That's really interesting. Crazy how this is what Luke was afraid of early in the book, hosting the Lord of Time in his body. Really? Did he say that? I don't remember him saying that. I was reading this part for the first time on a field trip in DC, and flat out through the book, my roommate, who was watching a murder show, literally walked out and tossed me my Bible. That's fucking funny. Oh, that's good. Honestly, my theory is that when Luke was trying to refute Thalia, he was looking for a way out of being the host. Thalia is more powerful, and he probably wanted Thalia to be the host instead of him. This is true. To be honest, I wouldn't want to be the host either, to be honest. But Luke is one of the most loyal servants I've ever seen in fiction. He literally let this man... I gotta respect it, the right-hand mandism of it. Yeah, you have to give him his props. He's a very loyal right-hand man, on Zorro levels of right-hand mandery. The one time Percy did not want to throw hands. Honestly, I feel it though. I feel that because like he's literally his presence scared Ares back in the beginning of the first book. You know what I mean? Like that in the end of the first book. Like that's like if you're gonna scare the god of war, you're definitely gonna scare the son of the god of the sea. You know what I mean? I thought he wanted Thalia to be the one to get the power of sacrificing the cat. Yeah. A good one, TBH. Yeah. Imagine Kronos having that power. That'd be crazy. Kronos with the power of the king of the gods. Honestly, that would have been fire. I'm not gonna lie. Rachel Elizabeth Dare. Yeah, her hairbrush ninja. Yeah, I was like blue hairbrush. Okay. What's his eye? I gave him a pass to whine for a second. This is true. It is the eye. It's not like the eye is always a vulnerable spot. Now that you're here, the Sea of Monsters movie is even more of an abandonment. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was really thinking about that because he just put the golden fleece on the sarcophagus, and Kronos just came back looking more like this. Actually, we're looking more like the cover of this book, and like this jarbled up dude, like this big ass dude, like with pieces like. And it was a cool design. Like as he walked, his legs, the muscles in his leg shifted from thing to thing. It was cool, but like this is not at all what like Kronos was, which is crazy to think about, that they changed it so much, and like why they would even bring Kronos out in the second book, like, and then just have him be like in the second book, Percy was like, oh, Kronos, oh word, gonna kill you in 10 seconds later. Like that's literally all it is. And this is like, oh, it's Kronos, oh bye, oh I'm leaving. That's enough for me. That's enough demigod adventuring for one day. Luke never said it out loud, but people mentioned that he was looking nervous and told him not to be scared for his fate. Ooh. Okay. Luke was worried about the Titan's curse before the battle. Interesting. Dang. I don't remember that, but I believe it. Oof, ooh, man. That's what Luke was scared about. Yeah, he was looking more depressed. I do remember that. I do remember Luke looking sad. But he had to be the one. Why couldn't he do a different demigod? Why did it have to be him? That's crazy. I'm sure we're going to find out the semantics of it all. But yeah, man. This next chapter, though, I read the title. This is about to be a crazy chapter. I already know. But let me snack on the official snack of Percy Jackson really quickly. No. This next chapter, I wonder how. Because Grover can't just find Pan, right? Like, if he finds Pan and it has nothing to do with anything else, I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed that we wasted all this time on this. Because it's gonna connect somehow. Like, Pan is gonna be paramount in this war, I imagine. I think it's the same as for why they don't force another half-blood to take the sky for Atlas. Only Luke had enough resolve to agree to do it. That's probably true. That is probably true. One second. Alright. You'll see it's my favorite chapter in this book for a reason. That's all you had to freaking say. Without further ado, let's get into this. Mugetsu. Nah, let's go. Let's go. You've never steered me wrong before. You've never steered me wrong before. At least that I can remember. But I'm not going to think about it because we're going to read. Alright. The Lost God Speaks. Listen. I swear. If they get to this... Sorry, when they get to this point in the live action. The episode better end. Like episode 6 or 7. It's whatever. The episode better end with Kronos waking up. And the next episode better be called The Lost God Speaks. Because that's such a oof. I love just, you know me. I love dope sentences. And that's a dope ass sentence. The Lost God Speaks. Alright. We ran until we were exhausted. Rachel stressed away from our traps. We had no destination in mind, only away from the dark mountain and the roar of Kronos. We stopped in a tunnel of wet white rock, like part of a natural cave. I couldn't hear anything behind us, but I didn't feel any safer. I still remember those unnatural golden eyes staring out of Luke's face, and the feeling that my limbs were slowly turning to stone. I can't go any farther, Rachel gasped, hugging her chest. Annabeth had been crying the entire time we'd been running. Now she collapsed and put her head between her thighs. Her sobs echoed in the tunnel. Nico and I sat next to each other. He dropped his sword next to mine and took a shaky breath. That sucked, he said. But I thought something's up pretty well. I agree. Yeah, that's pretty solid. You saved our lives, I said. Nico, I didn't know Nico could control Earth as well. That's a pretty interesting power to give the son of the god of death, right? Controlling the Earth. But he can open up things in the Earth where people can fall through. So I wonder how that relates to him, like, sharding it up. I know it's pretty vague, but it relates to the whole, like, rule of 3 principle that I've kind of come to follow. Like, sky, water, ground. That's basically the 3 gods. So Thalia controls the lightning and the sky. Percy controls the water. He controls the ground and the dead. Like, it works. It's still cool. You saved our lives, I said. Nico wiped the dust off his face. Blamed the girls for dragging me along. That's the only thing they could agree on. We need to help you, and you'd mess things up. Nice that they trust me so much. I mean, they were not wrong. I mean, you really couldn't do anything. Actually, you should have stabbed Luke, to be honest. Or I shone my flashlight across the cavern. Water dripped from the stalactites like slow motion rain. Nico, you kind of gave yourself away. What do you mean? The wall of black stone? That was pretty impressive. If Kronos didn't know who you were before, he does now. A child of the underworld. Nico frowned. Big deal. I let it drop. I figured he was trying to hide how scared he was. I couldn't blame him. Annabeth lifted her head. Dang, Nico is really only 11 years old? Nico really feels like he's like 15, 16-ish, like the same age as Percy. If this is supposed to show that Nico had to grow up fast because of this, then it's doing a fantastic job. Annabeth lifted her head. Her eyes were red from crying. What was wrong with Luke? What did they do to him? I told her what I'd seen in the coffin. The way the last piece of Kronos' spirit had entered Luke's body when Ethan Nakamura pledged his service. No, Annabeth said. That can't be true. He couldn't. He gave himself over to Kronos, I said. I'm sorry, Annabeth, but Luke is gone. That can't be the end of Luke. I refuse to believe that that's how they end Luke's story. Luke is coming back, for sure. No, she insisted. You saw when Rachel hit him. I nodded, looking at Rachel with respect. You hit the Lord of the Titans in the eye with a blue plastic hairbrush. Rachel looked embarrassed. It was the only thing I had. Let's go, chat shit. It's really, dude, like, this is a crazy mortal adventure. Like, you jumped in the middle of this war saga. She's coming in. She's like, oh, Lord of the Titans. Like, Rachel is straight up flying by the seat of her pants, even more than Percy is. Because Percy still has experience, you know? Percy's flying by the seat of his pants. Rachel is flying by not even the seat, like the top of her pants. She's just flying. She's just flying. What is it? Alright. Watch me Apollo who just got in the maze and asked for directions. That'd be such an Apollo thing to do, I'm not gonna lie. That's a very character for him. I guess since Hades is also the god of the underworld, he can control the ground as well. I guess as part of Hades' power is to rule the underworld. Yeah, get out of my head. That's fucking funny. But you saw, Annabeth insisted. What did hit him? Just for a second. He was dazed. He came to his senses. So maybe Kronos wasn't completely settled in the body, whatever I said. It doesn't mean Luke was in control. It doesn't mean that. They're fighting for control. You want him to be evil? Is that it? Annabeth yelled. You didn't even know him, Percy. I did. What is it with you? I snapped. Why do you keep defending him? For the first time in the series, they are about to have a full-on argument. For the first time in the series, they are about to have a full-on argument. They never have arguments like this. Annabeth turned on her. Stay out of it. Wait. Whoa, you two, Rachel said. Knock it off. Annabeth turned on her. Stay out of it, mortal girl. If it wasn't for you... Whatever she was going to say, her voice broke. She put her head down again and sobbed miserably. I wanted to comfort her, but I didn't know how. Dang, no argument, I guess. I still felt stunned, like Kronos' time slow effect had affected my brain. I just couldn't comprehend what I'd seen. Kronos was alive. He was armed. The end of the world was probably close at hand. We have to keep moving, Nico said. He'll send monsters after us. Nobody was in any shape to run, but Nico was right. I hauled myself up and helped Rachel to her feet. You did good back there, I told her. She managed a weak smile. Yeah, well, I didn't want you to die. She blushed. I mean, just because you know, you owe me too many favors. How am I going to collect if you die? That's facts. Percy does owe you a lot. Percy does owe you so much. I knelt next to Annabeth. Hey, I'm sorry. We need to move. Please ignore the yelling in my background if you can hear that. It's so annoying. I knelt next to Annabeth. Hey, I'm sorry. We need to move. I know, she said. I'm alright. I'm alright. She was clearly not alright. But she got to her feet. And we started straggling through the labyrinth again. Back to New York, I said. Rachel, can you... I froze. A few feet in front of us was my flashlight beam fixed on a trampled clump of red fabric lying on the ground. It was a Rasta cap, the one Grover always wore. My hands shook as I picked up the cap. It looked like it had been stepped on by a huge muddy boot. After all that I'd gone through the day, I couldn't stand the thought that something might have happened to Grover too. We haven't seen Homie for several chapters, man. We haven't seen Grover for like 5 chapters for a while. Then I noticed something else. The cave floor was mushy and wet from the water dripping off the stalactites. There were large footprints like Tyson's and smaller ones, goat hooves leading off to the left. We have to follow them, I said. They went that way. It must have been recently. What about Camp Half-Blood? Nico said. There's no time. We have to find them. Annabeth insisted. They're our friends. Let's go. One Piece moment. She picked up Grover's smashed cap and forged ahead. I followed, bracing myself for the worst. The tunnel was treacherous. It slipped at weird angles and was slimy with moisture. Half the time, we were slipping and sliding rather than walking. Finally, we got to the bottom of the slope and found ourselves in a large cave with huge stalagmite columns. But the center of the room ran an underground river, and Tyson was sitting by the banks, cradling Grover in his lap. Grover's eyes were closed. He wasn't moving. Tyson! I yelled. Oh, not. Don't do this to my boy. Don't do this to my boy. Percy, come quick! We ran over to him. Grover wasn't dead. Thank the gods. But his whole body trembled like he was freezing to death. What happened? I asked. So many things, Tyson remembered. A large snake, large dogs, men with swords. But then we got close to here. Grover was excited. He ran, then we reached his room, and he fell. Like this. Did he say anything? I asked. He said we're close. Then he hit his head on rocks. I knelt next to him. The only time I'd seen Grover pass out was in New Mexico, when he felt the presence of Pan. I shined my flashlight around the cavern. The rocks glittered at the far end. Was the entrance to another cave, flanked by gigantic columns of crystal that looked like diamonds, and beyond that entrance. Grover, I said, wake up. Annabeth knelt next to him and splashed icy cold river water in his face. Splurg! His eyelids fluttered. Percy? Annabeth, where? It's okay, I said. You passed out. The presence was too much for you. I remember. Pan! Yeah, I said. Something powerful is just beyond that doorway. I love they can feel God power. That's so cool. I assume that was a spoiler that you deleted. Don't allude to anything, Cabin 7, if that's referring to future events. Okay. Percy's repaying her by fighting Kronos, so she and the rest of humanity doesn't die or become slaves. Yeah, that is Percy repaying her. Okay, cool. Yeah, we pretty much have to pretend the other books don't exist until we get there. Please. Listen, the other books haven't gotten released until I walk over and pick them up from my shelf, okay? that's how we're going about it. It's okay. I have the urge to say things like that sometimes, and I have to stop myself. I know this is off topic, but I hope he does the Kane Chronicles. I really am interested in Egyptian mythology, and I heard that's what Kane Chronicles is about. So, listen, hey, if I enjoy Percy enough, because I'm gonna read all Percy first. If I enjoy that enough that I just want more Rick Riordan, I might end up doing Kane Chronicles. Who knows? Who knows? Also, I mean, you guys can actually, I don't want to say that. I don't know how good you are at foreshadowing without spoiling stuff, because I'm pretty good at picking shit up. So for it to be safe, don't say anything. But honestly, if you're feeling like you can give me something really fucking vague, that's fine, but maybe don't. Maybe just don't do it. Maybe I should just say don't do it. We'll just go with don't. And I know the feeling. I used to do an entire game for my friend, and it had to dodge a bunch of questions to not spoil the twist ending. Yeah, it's so much more fun finding out when you're reading it. Spoilers kind of upsetting to me. I still wish I didn't know that Nikos was the son of Hades, because that would have been so cool to figure out at the end. I would have been thinking he was the kid of Aphrodite the whole time. I would have been like, see, we're meeting Aphrodite in this book. He's the kid of Aphrodite. Look at him. Look at him. They're setting it up. I would have been doing that the entire time. And then at the end, I would have been shocked. It's a fun crossover between that series and this one. And that's what got me into the Kane Chronicles. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about the crossover. That's interesting to me. I've been giving you vague spoilers at times. I can't resist, and I know you wouldn't get it the way I word it. Good. Good. I'm okay with that then. As long as I have no idea what you're talking about, that's fine. I made quick introductions, since Tyson and Grover had never met Rachel. Tyson told Rachel she was pretty, which made Annabeth's nostrils flare, like she was going to blow fire. I love Tyson. He's so wholesome. He's so sweet. Anyway, I said, "Come on, Grover, lean on me." Annabeth and I helped him up. Together we waded across the underground river. The current was strong. The water came up to our waists. I willed myself to stay dry, which is a handy little ability, but that didn't help the others, and I could still feel the cold, like wading through a snowdrift. I think we're in Carlsbad Caverns, Annabeth said, her teeth chattering. Maybe an unexplored section. How do you know? Carlsbad is in New Mexico, she said. That would explain last winter. I nodded. Grover's swooning episode had happened when we passed through New Mexico. That's where he'd felt closest to the power of Pan. We got out of the water and kept walking. As the crystal pillars loomed larger, I started to feel the power emanating from the room. I'd been in the presence of gods before, but this was different. My skin tingled with living energy. My wariness fell away, as if I'd just gotten a good night's sleep. What makes Pan so different? I'm so curious. I could feel myself growing stronger. Like one of those plants in a time-lapse video. That's such a topical sentence. That's a sentence that would not have been in a book 15 years prior. And the scent coming from the cave was nothing like the dank, wet underground. It smelled of trees and flowers and a warm summer day. Grover whimpered with excitement. I was too stunned to talk. Even Nico seemed speechless. We stepped into the cave and Rachel said, "Oh wow." The walls glittered with crystals, red, green, and blue. In the strange light, beautiful plants grew, giant orchards, star-shaped flowers, vines bursting with orange and purple, berries that crept among the crystals. The cave floor was covered with soft green moss. Overhead, the ceiling was higher than a cathedral, sparkling like a galaxy of stars. In the center of the cave stood a Roman-style bed, gilded wood shaped like a curly U, with velvet cushions. Animals lounged around it. Ooh, a U. Percy Jackson in Greek mythology. Can do love his use. Can do be loving him. I want to read that again. Overhead the ceiling was higher than a cathedral, sparkling like a galaxy of stars. Damn. In the center of the cave stood a Roman-style bed, gilded with wood shaped like a curly U with velvet cushions. Animals lounged around it, but they were animals that shouldn't have been alive. There were dodo birds, something that looked like a cross between a wolf and a tiger. A huge rodent, like the mother of all guinea pigs. Oh, and roaming behind the bed, picking berries with its trunk, was a woolly mammoth. Damn! On the bed lay an old satyr. He watched us as we approached, his eyes as blue as the sky. His curly hair was white, and so was his pointed beard. Even the goat fur on his legs was frosted with gray. His horns were enormous, glossy brown and curved. There was no way he could have hidden those under a hat the way Grover did. Around his neck hung a set of reeds. Grover fell to his knees in front of the bed. Lord Pan. Pan is a satyr? I thought he was a god. I didn't know satyrs could be gods. The god smiled kindly, but there was sadness in his eyes. Grover, my dear, brave satyr, I have waited a very long time for you. Why Grover, though? Why him? I got lost, Grover apologized. Dang. Percy, you're not gonna kneel too? Kneel, bitch. Pan laughed. It was a wonderful sound, like the first breeze of springtime. Dude. Filled the whole cavern with hope. The tiger wolf sighed and rested his head on the god's knee. The dodo bird pecked affectionately at the god's hooves. making a strange sound in the back of its bill. I could swear it was humming. It's a small world. Still, Pan looked tired. His whole form shimmered as if he were made of mist. I noticed my other friends were kneeling. They had odd looks on their faces. Yeah, Percy would be the last one to kneel. He would be the last one to do it. You have a humming dodo bird? I said stupidly. The guy's eyes twinkled. Yes, that's Dee Dee, my little actress. Dee Dee the dodo bird looked offended. She pecked at Pan's knee and hummed something that sounded like a funeral dirge. This is the most beautiful place. This is the most beautiful place, Annabeth said. It's better than any building ever designed. I'm glad you like it, dear, Pan said. Please stop yelling in the background, family, I said. It is one of the last wild places. My realm above is gone. I'm afraid only pockets remain. Tiny pieces of life. Bro, I walk around every day saying this. I'm like, dude, nature is dead. Like, this one shall stay undisturbed for a little longer. My lord, Grover said, please, you must come back with me. The others will never believe it. They'll be overjoyed. You can save the wild. Pan placed his hand on Grover's head and ruffled his only hair. You are so young, Grover. So good and true. I think I chose well. Chose, Grover said. I don't understand. Pan's image flickered, momentarily turning to smoke. The giant guinea pig scuttled under the bed with a terrified squeal. The woolly mammoth grunted nervously. Dee Dee stuck her head under her swing. Then Pan reformed. I have slept many eons, the god said forlornly. My dreams have been dark. I wake fitfully, and each time my waking is shorter. Now we are near the end. What? Grover cried. But no, you're right here. My dear satyr, Pan said. I tried to tell the world 2,000 years ago. I announced it to Lysis, a satyr very much like you. He lived in Ephesus, and he tried to spread the word. Annabeth's eyes widened. The old story. A sailor passing by the coast of Ephesus heard a voice crying from the shore. Tell them the great god Pan is dead. But that wasn't true, Grover said. Your kind never believed it, Pan said. You sweet, stubborn satyrs refused to accept my passing, and I love you for that. But you only delayed the inevitable. You only prolonged my long, painful passing. My dark, twilight sleep. Bro! What are these sentences? Rick lit his pen on fire for this chat. Seared the ink into these pages, bro. Like, my dark twilight sleep? What? It was great. He was asking questions. I was fake theorizing with him to keep him off the trail. I love when you guys do that. I have so many of those. I can give single words. I imagine it was if it was like that with Athena, like you get near her and you feel your IQ rise 15 points. Yeah, Percy didn't describe that shit. He's like, he didn't say, I felt so much smarter. Like I could solve the Pythagorean theorem. He didn't say anything like that. I think Pan just likes to appear as a satyr. Is there the most nature? Yeah, that's true. Gods do have true forms. You know, Pan has to be a stoner. Pan is not... Actually, Pan might be a stoner. I'm not even gonna lie. That'd be kind of in character. No, Grover's voice trembled. Dear Grover, Pan said, you must accept the truth. Your companion, Nico, he understands. Nico nodded slowly. Yeah, of course. Of course Nico understands. Man! I'm starting to see how people like Nico. Maybe this is not what people like Nico, but I'm starting to like Nico a lot more. Because, like, I've started to love the theme of death a lot more in stories recently. Like, even before I started reading Percy Jackson. Like, if you guys know anything about Discworld and how death as a character is treated in there, I love that. So, I didn't read Discworld, but I just know how he's treated, and that's so cool. So, I've started to love the theme of death a lot more. And Nico's, like, how Nico is, like, being a vessel for the theme of death is really cool to me. I really like that. He's dying. He should have died long ago. This is more like a memory. Whoa. The gods can't die, Grover said. They can fade, Pan said, when everything they stood for is gone, when they cease to have power, and their sacred places disappear. The wild, my dear Grover, is so small now, so shattered that no god can save it. My realm is gone. That is why I need you to carry a message. You must go back to the council. You must tell the satyrs, the dryads, and the other spirits of nature that the great god Pan is dead. Tell them of my passing, because they must stop waiting for me to save them. I cannot. The only salvation you must make yourself. The only salvation you must make yourself. Each of you must. He stopped and frowned at the dodo bird. Who had started humming again. Dee, what are you doing? Pan demanded. Are you singing Kumbaya again? This series, man. Dee looked up innocently and blinked her yellow eyes. Pan sighed. Everybody's a cynic. But as I was saying, my dear Grover, each of you must take up my calling. But no, Grover whimpered. Be strong, Pan said. You have found me, and now you must release me. You must carry on my spirit. It can no longer be carried by a god. It must be taken up by all of you. Pan looked straight at me with his clear blue eyes, and I realized he wasn't just talking about the satyrs. He meant half-bloods too, and humans, and everyone. Percy Jackson, the god said. Every time people say his name, I think of what you guys said about, like, every time somebody says his name, he gets, like, his legend grows. The god said, I know what you have seen today. I know your doubts. But I give you this news. When the time comes, you will not be ruled by fear. He turned to Annabeth, daughter of Athena. Your time is coming. You will play a great role, though it may not be the role you imagined. Then he looked at Tyson. Master Cyclops, do not despair. Heroes rarely live up to our expectations. Ooh. Heroes rarely live up to expectations. But you, Tyson, your name shall live among the Cyclopses for generations. And Miss Rachel Dare. Rachel flinched. Yeah, this is the first time seeing a god as well. So Rachel's just like, she's a mortal meeting a god. Rachel flinched when he said her name. She backed up like she was guilty of something. But Pan only smiled. He raised his hand in a blessing. I know you believe you cannot make amends, he said. But you are just as important as your father. Rachel faltered. A tear traced her cheek. Interesting. I know you don't believe this now, Pan said, but look for opportunities. They will come. Finally, he turned... Did he say anything about my boy Jackson? What did he say about him? Oh, he said you will not be ruled by fear. Okay. Oh, what is it? Finally, he turned back toward Grover. My dear satyr, Pan said kindly, will you carry my message? I can't. You can, Pan said. You are the strongest and bravest. Your heart is true. You believed in me more than anyone ever has, which is why you must bring the message, and why you must be the first to release me. I don't want to. I know, the god said. But my name, Pan, originally it meant rustic. Did you know that? But over the years, it has come to mean all. The spirit of the world must pass to all of you now. You must tell each one you meet. If you would find Pan, take up Pan's spirit. Remake the wild, a little at a time, each in your own corner of the world. You cannot wait for anyone else, even a god, to do that for you. Grover wiped his eyes. Then slowly he stood. I spent my whole life looking for you. Now, I release you. Oof. Damn. Pan smiled. Thank you, dear satyr. My final blessing. He closed his eyes, and the god dissolved. White mist divided into wisps of energy. But this kind of energy wasn't scary like the blue power I'd seen from Kronos. It filled the room. A curl of smoke went straight into my mouth and Grover's and the others, but I think a little more of it went into Grover's. The crystals dimmed. The animals gave us a sad look. Dee Dee, the dodo, sighed. Then they all turned gray and crumbled to dust. The vines withered, and we were alone in a dark cave with an empty bed. I switched on my flashlight. Grover took a deep breath. Are you okay? I asked him. He looked older and sadder. He took his cap from Annabeth, brushed off the mud, and stuck it firmly on his curly head. We should go now, he said, and tell them the great god Pan is dead. Damn! Nah, I see what you mean. That might have been the best chapter in the book. That might have just been the best chapter in the book, man. Whoa. The great god Pan is dead. What a freaking moment, bro. Shit fell on my shirt. It is real to think that Pan was slowly dying for thousands of years because the satyrs won't let him die. Man, dude. My boy Rick is really cooking with this one. Why does Grover remind me of Aang? Like, Aang refuses to believe that deathing someone could work, and Grover refuses to believe that Pan is dying. They have the same attitude about it. I think maybe it's because Grover and Aang are both very spiritual characters. Like, the monks are very spiritual people, like satyrs. They are both of nature. So I understand how that could be, right? Makes a lot. I kind of get that similarity. It's the innocent kind, and sometimes to naive hope that Grover has that is similar to Aang. Yes, I also context Percy and Aang, but I don't know if there's a reason for that explanation. I don't know about that one. Maybe it's just because they're both main characters. Yeah, Anthony said the same thing. I 100% think it is. Pan, Death versus Calypso chapter. Oh, I forgot. Nah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go with the Calypso, bro. Pan's death is great. Don't get me wrong, but I just forgot about that one. You reminded me of it. Calypso chapter, still my favorite in this entire book. Maybe top 3 for me in the whole series. Yeah, that chapter is great. Like, for me, if I had to think of like top 3 chapters in the entire series right now, first of all, this Pan one is definitely making top 5 in the whole series. It's not even in conversation. But boot, yo, Delmay, nice to have you. It's always nice to see you, man. Rick is cooking enough to solve world hunger. I see what he was doing with this one, and I really like it. Dude, man, that makes you wish more people had seen this. I really hope the series causes a resurgence. That's really what visual media does for like narrative media, like more literature like this, like One Piece, Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, Lord of the Rings. And these are going to be a certain level of popular, but most people aren't going to read a book, right? Or read a comic or read a manga, right? So when things get put into visual form, they're translated wherever, they're going to become way more popular. So I think as the series goes, Percy Jackson is going to become a much more popular name in the zeitgeist of pop culture, and probably is going to, like, it might end up reaching Harry Potter levels of fame. I truly believe it can do that. Yeah, reading, yeah. Like, listen, like this, the Calypso chapter, Percy and Tyson versus Polyphemus is in my top 5 chapters of Percy Jackson. I love that chapter. And just because I love the Percy and Tyson relationship so much, And that's finally where like Percy kind of fully accepts him as his brother. Like, I love that chapter. This one is definitely top 5 for sure. I can't think of too many. Delmay, you're 6 minutes in. Is that what you're saying? Well, I can't wait till you see this point, because we just finished a banger of a chapter for sure. Man. Calypso means more than people think. I love her as a character. Yes. Calypso's great. Calypso's so great, man. We still have 3 chapters of book left. Percy versus Ares? No. Percy versus Ares is not in top 3. I don't think it's in top 5, but it's definitely top 10. It's definitely top 10 chapters. Percy versus Ares is great. I gotta go, dude. Keep it up. Oh, so sad, but alright. Nice having you with us. Hope to see you again when we read The Last Olympian. I have to think of more chapters, though. I'll probably do that at the end. I'll probably do like a... Yes, water. The symbol of Percy Jackson. I'll probably do like a stream after, like, ranking all ranking my favorite chapters. I wonder how we could do that. I don't know. I wonder if there's like a tier maker thing already for that. I don't know. Who knows? But maybe. All right. Yes, nothing else. I love this chapter more over the Calypso chapter as I reread the series. It's wonderfully sad. I agree, this chapter is really good. Like I said, this chapter is great. Almost as good as the Calypso chapter. But there's just something about, like, the Calypso chapter that is, like, so tied in with the themes of the series. Like that's, like, it's... Like, the themes of the series is mostly, like, what I imagine is, like, what it truly means to be a hero, right? Like, because Greek mythology is, like, the oldest interpretations of heroes ever. It's, like, what it truly means to be a hero. Like, the tragedy of being a hero. Like, that's, like, what the Calypso chapter is. And I, like, just love that so much. The reveal of Nico and Bianca, our Kids of Hades, has got to be a top 10. It didn't hit hard for me because I knew. If I didn't know, that chapter would be way higher up. It's great, don't get me wrong, but the reveal didn't hit for me because I already knew. But, alright. Hold on. I have to respond to a text, and then we will get into the next thingy. Alright. I'm so sad it got spoiled for me. I know! It's so annoying. Alright. Let's get into this, man. Dude, I'm loving Battle of the Labyrinth. I'm loving Battle of the Labyrinth, bro. Also gotta go, no, Delmay, how could you do this to me? You suck. You betrayed me. That's fine. Hopefully you join me reading The Last Olympian. I'll see ya. Thanks for popping in. Alright. Chapter 18. Grover causes a stampede. Sorry, it's all good, man. It's all good. Thanks for dropping in. Hopefully you could come in and stay for longer when we read The Last Olympian. Distance was shorter in the labyrinth. Still, by the time Rachel got us back to Times Square, I felt like we pretty much run all the way from New Mexico. We climbed out of the Marriott basement and stood on the sidewalk in the bright summer daylight. Why didn't you guys leave Camp Half-Blood? Whatever. I guess she just doesn't know where that is. That's probably the best bet. Squinting at the traffic crowds. I couldn't decide which seemed less real. New York or the Crystal Cave where I'd watched a god die. Damn. Seeing a god die. I led the way into Ann Valley. Come on. Oh no, sorry, I heard that wrong. I was about to say publisher mistake, but it's actually a me mistake. Into an alley where I could get a nice echo. Then I whistled as loud as I could 5 times. Oh, it's ya boy. It's ya boy. That's what Percy was listening for. I love that he can hear him from that far. I love that Percy can just summon him. A minute later, Rachel gasped, "They're beautiful!" A flock of Pegasi descended from the sky, swooping between the skyscrapers. Black Jack was in the lead, followed by 4 of his white rats. There's gotta be a special reason. Yeah, yo, boss. Yeah, I love that he says that every time. He spoke in my mind. You lived. There's gotta be a reason why Blackjack is black, though. I thought when they first described Blackjack without his name, I thought he was gonna be the original Pegasus. Like, cause they said like the first Pegasus named Pegasus was flying across. I thought it was gonna be him, but I wonder why he's black and everybody else isn't. I love how Grover didn't cry or mope over his god dying. He just stepped up and took the lead. Yeah, that's such a Chad moment, man. I hope we do see some crying though in the live action. I hope he cries and then he wipes his tears and then it's like gets up. He's like, yeah, it's go time. That'd be cool. Because it makes sense, you know, if he cried. Yeah, I told him. I'm lucky that way. Listen, we need to ride to camp. Quick. That's our specialty. Oh man, you got that Cyclops with you. Yo, Guido. How's your back holding up? The Pegasus Guido groaned and complained, but eventually he agreed to carry Tyson. Everybody started saddling up, except Rachel. Well, she told me, I guess this is it. I nodded uncomfortably. We both knew she couldn't go to camp. I glanced at Annabeth, who was pretending to be very busy with her Pegasus. Thanks, Rachel, I said. We couldn't have... Don't we have enough for Rachel? Because he said 4 other Pegasus, right? Yeah, 4 of his friends. So it's only Percy, Tyson, Annabeth, Grover, Nico. Percy, Tyson, Annabeth, Grover, Nico. Nope. No, yeah. No, never mind. I know how to count. There's not enough. Never mind, she's got to stay. I forgot how to count for a second. Yeah, well, they're going to camp. Yes, but Annabeth let... because Annabeth let Tyson in. You know what I mean? Annabeth let Tyson in to the camp when he couldn't walk the barrier. So that means Percy could give permission for Rachel to come through, you know? Percy, Tyson, Annabeth, Grover, Nico. Yeah, okay, so she can't go. Just had to make sure my math. I failed math for a reason, okay? Thanks, Rachel, I said. We couldn't have done it without you. I wouldn't have missed it. I mean, except for almost dying. And Pan. Her voice faltered. Dude, yeah, what a crazy adventure this girl just went on. He said something about your father, remember? What did he mean? Rachel twisted the strap on her backpack. My dad's job, he's kind of a famous businessman. You mean, you're rich? Yeah, I thought so. Well, yeah. So that's how you got the chauffeur to help us. You just said your dad's name and... Yes, Rachel cut me off. Percy, my dad's a land developer. He flies all over the world, looking for tracts and develop land. She shook a shaky breath. The wild. He buys it up. I hate it. He plows it down and builds ugly subdivisions and shopping centers. And now that I've seen Pan's death, hey, you can't blame yourself for that. You don't know the worst of it. I don't like to talk about my family. I didn't want you to know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. No, I said. It's cool. Look, Rachel, you did awesome. You led us through the maze. You were so brave. That's the only thing I'm going to judge you on. I don't care what your dad does. Rachel looked at me gratefully. Well, the print, yeah, the ink changes through books. That's the thing I didn't know. I guess I forgot about because I haven't read in so long. Rachel looked at me gratefully. Well, if you ever feel like hanging out with a mortal again, you could call me or something. Is Rachel asking him on a date? Percy. Redheads. That's all I'm saying. Just consider it. Just give it a thought. just think about it. Yeah, sure. She knit her eyebrows. I guess it sounded unenthusiastic or something. That's not how I meant it. I just wasn't sure what to say with all my friends standing around. And I guess my feelings had gotten pretty mixed up the last couple of days. I mean, I'd like that, I said. My number's not in the book, she said. I've got it. Still in your hand? No way. No, I kind of memorized it. Her smile came back slowly, but a lot happier. See you later, Percy Jackson. Go save the world for me, okay? Why am I hold on. Listen. What I'm about to say is very sacrilegious. What I'm about to say might be the most sacrilegious, blasphemous thing you've ever heard in my life. But I might be a Rachel shipper. I might be a Rachel. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Listen. It's just... I don't know. I don't know. It works like that for monsters, but not mortals. Interesting. I love that Pegasus are these majestic, glorious creatures, but talk like they're friends. I love that. Listen. I love how you called it before I said it. There's something about it. There's something about maybe I'm still open for my mind to be changed. Because I know people love Perciveth. I know. But there's some. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not married to anything yet. I just like the idea of it. Okay, this is my last stream. My mind is open. My mind is open for Perciveth. Okay, I'm not married to any idea. I'm waiting for Perciveth to show me some great things. Annabeth has just been mean this whole book. She's been really mean, and Rachel's been really nice. She walked off down 7th Avenue and disappeared into the crowds. When I got back to the horses, Nico was having trouble. His Pegasus kept shying away from him, reluctant to let him mount. My mind is closed. Open your mind! Open your mind to the possibilities. No, I'm kidding. Listen, like I said, I will... Annabeth too busy to worry about Luke. Annabeth too busy worrying about Luke. I know. When Annabeth is nice, I'll get used to it. Annabeth stays true to herself. Listen, I know, but Annabeth is usually not this mean. In the other books, I like Annabeth a lot more. And this one, she's kind of being really mean. Like, you understand me. Like, she's been an asshole to Rachel all book. You know what I mean? Nick was having trouble. His Pegasus kept shying away from him, reluctant to let him mount. He smells like dead people, the Pegasus complained. Hey now, Black said, come on, pork pie. Let the demigods smell weird. It ain't their fault. Oh, I didn't mean you, boss. Go without me, Nico said. I don't want to go back to that camp anyway. Nico, I said, we need your help. We do. We really do. He folded his arms and scowled. Then Annabeth put her hand on his shoulder. Nico, she said, please. Slowly his expression softened. All right, he said, reluctantly for you, but I'm not. He's reluctantly, for you, but I'm not staying. I raised an eyebrow at Annabeth, like, how come all of a sudden Nico listens to you? Yeah, I'm really curious about that too. She stuck her tongue out at me. At least we got everybody on a Pegasus. We shot into the air, and soon we were over the East River with Laurel Island spread out before us. Annabeth was nice the first 3 seconds she sees him. Then she saw her man with another woman. Yes, I get it. Like, I get why she's being mean. She just is. She's also juggling a lot. This is true. I get it. I get it. Don't get. Like I said, my mind is still open. I'm waiting for Annabeth to return. But right now, Rachel's really nice. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We landed in the middle of a cabin. Where's there? We were over the East River and Long Island spreading out before us. We landed in the middle of the cabin area, and were immediately met by Chiron and the pot-bellied satyr Salinas and a couple of Apollo cabin archers. Chiron raised an eyebrow when he saw Nico, but I expected him to be surprised by our latest news about Quintus being Daedalus or Kronos rising. I was mistaken. I feared as much, Kronos said. We must hurry. Hopefully you have slowed down the Titan Lord. But his vanguard will still be coming through. They will be anxious for blood. Most of our defenders are already in place. Come. Wait a moment, Salinas demanded. What of the Searcher Pan? You are almost 3 weeks overdue. Dang, they were in there for another 2 weeks. Agree with us or else I will agree when I'm good and goddamn ready, okay? I will agree when I'm good and goddamn ready. I'm waiting. I've no doubt in my mind that Annabeth will show me something that will make me a Perciveth believer. But right now, I am in betwixt. I'm in betwixt. You're almost 3 weeks overdue. Go run to it. Your searcher's license is revoked. Actually, I did it. Actually, I did it. You know what it is. You know, big deal. Go over Underwood. You know the vibes. I freaking did it. You know what it is. Grover took a deep breath. He stood up straight and looked Salinas in the eye. Searcher's license doesn't matter anymore. The great god Pan is dead. He has passed on and left us his spirit. What? Selena's turned bright red. Sacrilege and lies! Grover Underwood, I will have you exiled for speaking thus! Nah, he's that man. Believe him. He is Pan's chosen one, bro. Pan chose him. It's true, I said. We were there when he died. All of us. Impossible! You were all liars! Nature destroyers! Chiron said to Grover's face. We will speak of this later. We will speak of it now, Salinas said. We must deal with this. Salinas! Chiron cut in. My camp is under attack. The matter of Pan has waited 2,000 years. I fear we'll have to wait a bit longer. This means we are still here this evening. And on that happy note, he readied his bow and galloped towards the woods, leaving us to follow as best we could. It was the biggest military operation I'd ever seen at camp. Everyone was at the clearing, dressed in full battle armor. There were 80 of them, right? Full battle armor. This time it wasn't for capture of the flag. The Festus cabinet set up traps around the entrance to the... Yo, is the final battle gonna be us defending Camp Half-Blood? That's gonna be so crazy. The Festus cabinet set up traps around the entrance to the labyrinth. Razor wire pits filled with pots of Greek fire, rows of sharpened sticks to deflect a charge. Beckendorf was manning 2 catapults the size of pickup trucks, already primed and aimed at Zeus's first. The Ares cabin was on the front line, drilling in phalanx formation, with Clarice calling orders. Apollo's and Hermes' cabin were scattered in the woods with bows ready. Many had taken up positions in the trees. Even the dryads were armed with bows, and the satyrs trotted around with wooden cudgels and what the fuck is a cudgels? And shields made of rough tree bark. Dang, they are freaking loaded up. I love Clarice. I can't wait till we get... I love getting more Clarice stuff. Also, I'm not. I hate to form it. I'm not. But I know there are Clarice and Percy shippers out there. I know this is a thing. This is definitely a thing. Annabeth went to join her brethren from the Athena cabin, who had set up a command tent and were directing operations. A gray banner with an owl floated outside the tent. Our security chief, Argus, stood guard at the door. Aphrodite's children were running around, straightening everybody's armor, and offered to comb the tangles out of her horsehair plumes. Even Dionysus' kids had found something to do. The god himself was still nowhere to be seen, but his 2 blonde twin sons were running around, providing all the sweaty warriors with water bottles and juice boxes. It looked like a pretty good setup. Chiron muttered next to me, "It isn't enough." I thought about what I'd seen in the labyrinth, all the monsters in Antaeus' stadiums, and the power of Kronos I felt on Mount Tam. My heart sank. Chiron was right. It was all we could muster. For once I wished Dionysus was here. But even if he had been, I didn't know if he could do anything. When it came to war, gods were forbidden to interfere directly. Apparently the Titans didn't believe in restrictions like that. Who was interfering them? Who is stopping them? Like, why can't the gods? Because the gods fought in the war with the Titans, right? So who's stopping them now? Who enforces these heavenly rules? Is it Zeus? I would assume it's Zeus. Over at the edge of the clearing, Grover was talking to Juniper. She held his hands while he told her our story. Green tears formed in her eyes as he delivered the news about Pan. Tyson helped the Hephaestus kids prepare the defenses. He picked up boulders and piled them next to the catapults for firing. "Stay with me, Percy," Chiron said. "When are we going to hear the prophecy that Annabeth heard? I want to hear it." "When the fighting begins, I want you to wait until we know what we're dealing with. We must go where we most need reinforcements." "I saw Kronos," I said. Still some of the fact that I looked straight into his eyes. It was Luke, but it wasn't. Chiron ran his fingers along his bowstring. He had golden eyes, I would guess, and in his presence, time seemed to turn to liquid. I nodded. How could he take over a mortal body? "I do not know, Percy." Gods have assumed the shapes of mortals for ages, but to actually become one, to merge the divine form with the mortal form, I don't know how this could be done without Luke's form turning to ashes. Kronos said his body had been prepared. I shudder to think what that means. Okay, so we are going to find out more. But perhaps it will limit Kronos' power. For a time, at least. He is confined to a human form. It binds him together. Hopefully it also restricts him. Chiron, if he leads his attack, I do not think so, my boy. I would sense if you were drawing near. Not that he planned to, but I believe you inconvenienced him when you pulled down his throne room on top of him. He looked at me reproachfully. Oh yeah, he's told him already. You and your friend Nico, son of Hades. A lump formed in my throat. I'm sorry, Chiron. I knew I should have told you. It's just, Chiron raised his hands. I understood why you did it. Percy, you felt responsible. You sought to protect him. But my boy, if we are to survive this, we must trust each other. We must. His voice wavered. The ground underneath us was trembling. Everyone in the clearing stopped what they were doing. Clarice barked a single order. Lock shields! And the Titan Lord's army exploded from the labyrinth. Whoa, okay. We're getting right into it. We're getting right into this battle. Forbidden Fruit is finding out Chiron X Percy ship. No way that exists. Actually, I believe it. If the My Hero Academia fandom has taught me anything, shippers can come from anywhere. Ew, right? The Fates. What about the Fates? I didn't mention the Fates. I mean, I've been in fights before. This was a full-scale battle. The first thing I saw were a dozen Lynx Dragonian giants erupting from the ground. Yelling so loudly, my ears felt like bursting. They carried shields made from flattened cars and clubs that were tree trunks with rusty spikes bristling at the end. One of the giants belted at the Ares phalanx, smashed it sideways with his club, and the entire cabin was thrown aside. A dozen warriors tossed to the wind like ragdolls. Fire! Beckendorf yelled. The catapult swung into action. Two boulders hurtled toward the giants. One deflected off a car shield with hardly a dent, but the other caught a Lynx Dragonian in the chest. And the giant went down. Apollo's archers fired a volley, dozens of arrows sticking in the thick armor of the giants like porcupine quills. Several found chinks in armor, and some of the giants vaporized at the touch of celestial bronze. But just when it looked like the Lynx Dragonians were about to get overwhelmed, the next wave surged out of the maze. 30, maybe 40 Dracanae in full battle armor, wielding spears and nets. They dispersed in all directions. Some hit the traps. The Hephaestus cabin delayed. One got stuck on the spikes and became an easy target for archers. Another triggered a tripwire, and pots of Greek fire exploded into green flames, engulfed several of the snake women, but many more kept coming. Argus and Athena's warriors rushed forward to meet them. I saw Amethyst draw a sword and engage one of them. Nearby, Tyson was riding a giant. Somehow he'd managed to climb onto the giant's back. It was hitting him in the head with a bronze shield. Bong, bong, bong. Go, Tyson. Let's go. Go, Tyson. Chiron calmly aimed arrow after arrow, taking down a monster with every shot. But more enemies just kept climbing out of the maze. Finally, a hellhound, not Mrs. O'Leary, leaped out of the tunnel and barreled straight toward the satyrs. Go! Chiron yelled. Oh, Juniper can't even leave. If they take this, Juniper stays. Oh my god, I just realized that. I drew Riptide and charged. As I raced across the battlefield, I saw horrible things. An enemy half-blood was fighting with the son of Dionysus, but it wasn't much of a contest. The enemy stabbed him in the arm, then clubbed over his head with the butt of his sword, and the Dionysus son went down. Another enemy warrior shot flaming arrows into the trees, sending our archers in drive into a panic. A dozen Dracanae suddenly broke away. Hold on. What the fuck? Hold on. I need to remember what this chapter title was called again. What's the title of this chapter again? I need to remember. Grover causes a stampede. Okay. A dozen Dracanae suddenly broke away from the main fight and slithered down the path that led toward camp. Like they knew where they were going. They got out. They could burn down the entire place, completely unopposed. Dang, this is a freaking battle, dude. The only person anywhere near was Nico D'Angelo. He stabbed the Telkany, and his black Stygian blade absorbed the monster's essence. That's what Stygian does. It absorbs things, drinking its energy until there was nothing left but dust. Nico! I yelled. He looked where I was pointing, saw the serpent woman, and immediately understood. He took a deep breath and held out his black sword. Serve me, he called. The earth, yeah, Nico can summon an army, let's go. The earth trembled, a fissure opened in front of the Dracane, and a dozen undead warriors crawled from the earth. Horrible corpses in military uniforms from all different time periods. U.S. revolutionaries, Roman centurions, Napoleonic cavalry on skeletal horses. As one, they drew their swords and engaged Dracane. Nico crumpled to his knees, but I didn't have time to make sure he was okay. Dang, it takes a lot out of him. Like Percy in the water, that makes sense. I closed on the Hellhound, which was now pushing the satyrs back toward the woods. The beast snapped at one satyr, who danced out of its way, but then it pounced on another, who was too slow. The satyr's tree bark shield cracked as he fell. Hey! I yelled. The Hellhound turned and snarled at me, and I leaped. It would have clawed me to pieces, but as I fell backward, my fingers closed around a clay jar, one of Beckendorf's containers of Greek fire. I tossed it into a Hellhound's maw, and the creature went up in flames. I scrambled away, breathing heavily. Dang, dude, they are brawling. They are straight brawling. The satyr who'd gotten trampled wasn't moving. I rushed over to check on him, but then I heard Grover's voice. Percy! Hold on, I'm gonna read chat for a bit. The Fates are what I guess enforce these ancient laws. Oh, interesting. The Fates have power, like, over the gods like that? It means the Fates might enforce the gods, like, can't help their children fight. How would the Fates enforce that? The first casualties of war up till now, the only deaths were quest related. Yeah, that's true. It's like how it's basically bad luck to interfere with demigod quests with a prophecy involved or not. Fate will come to be an interference of that. It is not encouraged. I think this might be Nico's first fight. He didn't have to fight anything in the last book, so unless he fought something in the between, he's definitely fought in between books. I fully believe that. That was not his first kill. The Fates are what weave everything. They existed since the beginning. The gods are very young compared to them. Okay. Interesting. So why don't the Titans? Why aren't the Titans susceptible to these rules? That's really interesting. Why are the gods the things that enforce that gets rules enforced on them? Dang, like that's so Destiny as it existed since the beginning. That's so cool. It's just like everything about this is so epic in scale. I think Atlas followed the rules. Interesting. So, maybe because the Titans don't follow the rules, that's why they lose. That's interesting. Interesting. A forest fire had started. Flames roared within 10 feet of Juniper's tree, and Juniper and Grover were going nuts trying to save it. If Juniper dies, bro, Juniper better not die. Grover played a rain song in his pipes. Juniper desperately tried to beat out the flames with her green shawl, but it was only making things worse. I ran toward them, jumping past duels weaving between the legs of giants. The nearest water was the creek, half a mile away, but I had to do something. I concentrated. There was a pull in my gut, a roar in my ears. Then a wall of water came rushing through the trees. It doused the fire. Juniper, Grover, and pretty much everyone else. Grover blew a spout of water. Thanks, Percy! No problem. I ran back toward the fight, and Grover and Juniper followed. Grover had a cudgel in his hands, and Juniper held a stick like an old-fashioned whipping switch. She looked really angry. She was going to tan somebody's backside. Just when it seemed like the battle had balanced out, like we might stand a chance, an unearthly shriek echoed out of the labyrinth, a sound I had heard before. Campe shot into the sky. Fuck no. Fuck that. Her bat wings fully extended, she got on top of Zeus's fist and surveyed the carnage. Her face was filled with evil glee. The mutant animal herds growled at her waist. Snakes hissed and swirled around her legs. In her right hand, she had a glittering ball of thread, Ariadne string. But she popped into one of the lion's mouths at her waist and drew her curved swords. The blades glowed green and with poison. Campe screeched in triumph, and some of the campers screamed. Others tried to run and got trampled by hellhounds or giants. De immortalis! Chiron yelled. What does that mean? He quickly aimed an arrow, but Campe seemed to sense his presence. She took flight with amazing speed, and Chiron's arrow whizzed harmlessly past her head. Tyson untangled himself from the giant, whom he pummeled into unconsciousness. He ran out our lines, shouting, "Stand! Do not run from them! Fight!" But then a hellhound leaped on him. Tyson and the hound went rolling away. Campe landed on the Athena command tent, smashing it flat. I ran after her and found Annabeth at my side, keeping pace, her sword in her hand. "This might be it," she said. "Could be." Whoa, I need to read that again. I need to read that from the top. De immortalis, Chiron yelled. He quickly aimed an arrow, but Campe sensed his presence. She took flight with amazing speed, and Chiron's arrow whizzed harmlessly past her head. Tyson untangled himself from the giant's wound. He pummeled it into unconsciousness. Damn, bro. Tyson, my brain ran over that. Tyson beating that ass. He ran out our lines, shouting, "Stand! Do not run from her! Fight!" Oh, I love Tyson, man. But then a hellhound leaped on him, and Tyson and the hound went rolling away. Campe landed on Athena command tent, smashing it flat. I ran after her and found Annabeth at my side, keeping pace, her sword in her hand. "This might be it," she said. "Could be." "Nice fighting with you, Seaweed Brain." "Ditto." Together we leaped into the monster's path. Campe hissed and sliced at us. I dodged, trying to distract her, while Annabeth went in for a strike, but the monster seemed to be able to fight with both hands independently. She blocked Annabeth's sword, and Annabeth had to jump back to avoid the cloud of poison. Just being near the thing was like standing in an acid fog. My eyes burned. My lungs couldn't get enough air. I knew we couldn't stand our ground for more than a few seconds. "Come on," I shouted. "We need help." But no help came. Everyone was either down or fighting for their lives, or too scared to move forward. 3 of Chiron's arrows sprouted from the Campe's chest, but she just roared louder. "Now!" Annabeth said. Together we charged, dodged the monster's slashes inside her guard, and almost managed to stab Campe in the chest. But a huge bear head lashed out from the monster's waist, and we had to stumble backward to avoid getting bitten. Slam! My eyesight went black. The next thing I knew, Annabeth and I were on the ground. The monster had its forelegs on my chest, holding us down. Hundreds of snakes slithering above me. Hissing like laughter, Campe raised her green-tinged weapons, and I knew Annabeth and I were out of options. And then behind me, something howled. A wall of darkness slammed into Campe, sending the monster sideways, and Mrs. O'Leary was standing up over us, snarling and snapping at Campe. "Let's freaking go! Let's go!" "Good girl," said a familiar voice. Daedalus was fighting his way out of the labyrinth, slashing down enemies. "He's freaking back! Let's go!" Slashing down enemies and left and right as he made his way toward us. Next to him was someone else, a familiar giant, much taller than Langsdragonians, with 100 rippling arms. Let's go, my boy! He's back! Each holding a huge chunk of rock. "Briareus!" Tyson cried in wonder. "Hail, little brother!" Briareus yelled. "Stand firm!" And as Miss O'Leary leaped out of the way, the 100-handed one launched a volley of boulders. Campe, the rock seemed to enlarge as they left Briareus' hand. There were so many, it looked like half the earth had learned to fly. Damn. Boom! Where Campe had stood a moment before was a mountain of boulders, almost as tall as Zeus's fist. The only sign that the monster had ever existed were 2 green swords, sword points sticking out through the cracks. A cheer went up from the campers, but our enemies weren't done yet. One of the Dracanae yelled, "Slay them! Kill them all, or Kronos will flay you alive!" Also, it's crazy to think that this is one of what is it? This is somebody's first year at camp. This is somebody's first year at camp, and they're like, fuck, war. They're probably dead already. I think I read somewhere that they were daughters of a Nyx, but yeah, they're definitely older than the gods. Interesting. When live action gets here, half the budget is gonna go into anime. That's so true. Miss O'Leary clutch Briareus. Honestly, that is a brr, dur, 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 brr, brr moment. That's I can hear Bruce Banner going, "You guys are so screwed now." That's that type of moment, dude. Tyus's Bruce Banner going, "You guys are so screwed now." Yeah, for sure. What was it? Apparently, that threat was more terrifying than we were. The giant surged forward in a last desperate attempt. One surprised Chiron with a glancing blow to the back legs, and he stumbled and fell. 6 giants cried in glee and rushed forward. "Percy, book." "No!" I screamed, but I was too far away to help. Then it happened. Grover opened his mouth, and the most horrible sound I'd ever heard came out. It was like a brass trumpet magnified 1,000 times, the sound of pure fear. As one, the forces of Kronos dropped their weapons and ran for their lives. The giants trampled the Dracanae, trying to get into the labyrinth first, but Telekinesis and Hellhounds and enemy half-bloods scrambled after them. The tunnel rumbled shut, and the battle was over. What? The clearing was quiet, except for fires burning in the woods and the cries of wounded. I helped Annabeth to her feet. We ran to Chiron. "Are you all right?" I asked. He was lying on his side, trying in vain to get up. "How embarrassing," he muttered. "I think I'll be fine. Fortunately, we do not shoot centaurs with broken legs." "You need help," Annabeth said. "I'll get a medic from Apollo's cabin." "No," Chiron insisted. "There are more serious injuries to attend to. Go! I am fine. But Grover, later we must talk about how you did that." "That was amazing," I agreed. Grover blushed. "I don't know where it came from." "Yeah, where did that come from?" Juniper hugged him fiercely. "I do." Before she could say more, Tyson called, "Percy, come quick! It is Nico!" "What is Nico?" What? There was smoke curling off his black clothes. His fingers were clenched, and the grass all around his body had turned yellow and died. I rolled over him as gently as I could, put my hand against his chest. His heart was beating faintly. "Get some nectar!" I yelled. One of the Ares campers hobbled over and handed me a canteen. I trickled some of the magic drink into Nico's mouth. He coughed and sputtered. His eyelids floated open. "Nico, what happened?" I asked. "Can you talk?" "Oh, okay. That was because never tried to summon so many before. I'll be fine." We helped him sit up and gave him some more nectar. He blinked at all of us, like he was trying to remember who we were. And then he focused on someone behind him. "Daedalus," he croaked. "Yes, my boy," the inventor said. "I made a very bad mistake. I came to correct it." Daedalus had a few scratches that were bleeding golden oil. But he looked better than most of us. Apparently, his automaton body healed itself quickly. Mrs. O'Leary leaned behind him, licking the wounds on his master's head. So Daedalus' hair stood funny. Briere stood next to him, surrounded by a group of odd campers and satyrs. He looked kind of bashful, but he was signing autographs on armor shields and t-shirts. "I found the 100-handed one as I came through the maze," Daedalus explained. "It seems he had the same idea to come help, but he was lost, and so we fell in together. We both came to make amends." "Yay!" Tyson jumped up and down. "Briareus, I knew you would come." "I did not know," the 100 one said, "but you reminded me who I am, Cyclops. You are the hero." Tyson blushed, but I patted him on the back. I knew that was a long time ago, I said. But Daedalus, the Titan army is still down there. Even without the string, they'll be back. They'll find a way sooner or later, with Kronos leading them. Daedalus sheathed his sword. You are right. As long as the Labyrinth is here, your enemies can use it, which is why the Labyrinth cannot continue. Daedalus is about to fucking die. Annabeth stared at him. But you said the Labyrinth is tied to your life force. As long as you're alive. Yes, my young architect, Daedalus agreed. When I die, the Labyrinth will die as well. And so I have a present for you. He slung a leather satchel over his back and unzipped it, and produced a sleek silver laptop computer, one of the ones I'd seen in the workshop. On the lid was a blue symbol, Delta. My work is here, he said. It's all I managed to save from the fire. Notes on projects I never started, some of my favorite designs. I couldn't develop these over the last few millennia. I did not dare reveal my work to the mortal world, but perhaps you will find it interesting. He handed the computer to Annabeth, who stared at it. Wait, word, 1 second. I hate that. I hate that they do that. I hate that they talk to me. Where was it? Where was I wording? He handed the computer to Annabeth, who stared at it like it was solid gold. You're giving me this? This is priceless. This is worth... I don't even know how much. Small compensation for the way I acted. Daedalus said, you are right, Annabeth, about children of Athena. We should be wise, and I was not. Someday, you will be a greater architect than I ever was. Take my ideas and improve them. It is the least I can do before I pass on. Whoa, I said pass on. But you can't just kill yourself. That's wrong. He shook his head. Not as wrong as hiding from my crimes for 2,000 years. Genius does not excuse evil. Percy, my time has come. I must face my punishment. You won't get a fair trial, Annabeth said. The spirit of Minos sits in judgment. I will take what comes, he said, and trust in the justice of the underworld, such as it is. That is all we can do, isn't it? He looked straight at Nico, and Nico's face darkened. Yes, he said. Will you take my soul for ransom, Daedalus said. You could use it to reclaim your sister. No, Nico said. I will help you release your spirit, but Bianca has passed. She must stay where she is. Dang, what a Nico moment. He's not gonna interrupt the natural cycle of death. What a Nico moment, man. Daedalus nodded. Well done, son of Hades. You are becoming wise. Then he turned toward me. One last favor, Percy Jackson. I cannot leave Mrs. O'Leary alone, and she has no desire to return to the underworld. Will you care for her? I looked at the massive black hound, who whimpered pitifully, still licking Daedalus' hair. I was thinking that my mom's apartment wouldn't allow dogs, especially dogs bigger than the apartment. But I said, yeah, of course I will. Then I'm ready to see my son and Perdix, he said. I must tell them how sorry I am. And Annabeth had tears in her eyes. Daedalus turned toward Nico, who drew his sword. At first I was afraid Nico would kill the old inventor, but he simply said, your time has long since come. Be released and rest. A smile of relief spread across Daedalus' face. He froze like a statue. His skin turned transparent, revealing the bronze gears and machinery whirring inside his body. Then, the statue turned to gray ash and disintegrated. Miss O'Leary howled. I patted her head, trying to comfort her as best I could. The earth rumbled, an earthquake that could probably be felt in every major city across the country as the ancient labyrinth collapsed. Somewhere, I hoped the remains of the Titan strike force had been buried. I looked around at the carnage in the clearing and the wary faces of my friends. Come on, I told them. We have work to do. Dang, so many great freaking chapters, man. I see why you guys wanted me to read all this on stream. Because it's just banger after banger after banger after banger with this one. What was chapter 6? What happened in chapter 16 again? Like, you remember? It's been... Chapter 16, I open a coffin. Yeah. No, I get it. I completely get it. All these chapters have been bangers. Every single one of them. Daedalus is a beast. He said, I don't feel like dying. Then lived for 1,000 years, thousands of years, and decided that these kids are pretty chill. Guess I'll die for them. Yeah. Yeah, he really did. Casually steals his nephew's ideas who he murdered. That's crazy. Bro. Battle of the Labyrinth is so good. Battle of the Labyrinth is so good. I don't know if I like it more than Titan's Curse yet, but Battle of the Labyrinth is still really good. No, yeah. For sure, dude. Kronos Rising Pant, bro. Bro, The Last Olympian is about to be so crazy. I don't see how over a year of time can pass for Percy to turn 16 in the next one. I do not see how that can happen. But we're about to find out. We only got 2 more chapters left in this bitch. I don't know how many pages are left, but it's not that many. It's probably going to be like 2 20-page chapters, probably 2 15-page chapters, to be honest with you. All right. Hold on. Do I have any text I need to respond to? Okay. Hold on. Yeah, Titan's Curse. Respect. Love to see. Titan's Curse is like just the reveal that the entire book was talking about the Titan's Curse, and that's like, and Percy had to withstand the Titan's Curse and everything about like Bianca, Zoe going into the stars and all that stuff. Like, and Thalia, I love Thalia, and I'm sad we don't get any of Thalia in this book. And it was just a Percy holding up the sky as Atlas and Artemis fight in the background is just so cool. There's a lot of great stuff in Titan's Curse, but I can't really think of a chapter specifically from Titan's Curse. Maybe I take on a few million pounds. Chapter where Percy holds the sky. Maybe that one is like probably a top 5 chapter. I don't know. I still can't believe you almost read over the Titans. I know. Sometimes my brain is just like, words. These are words. Don't just read the words. And I forget I'm supposed to be thinking about them. But for most of this, since I've been getting in practice and doing this, most of this my brain has been just going, okay, read and imagine, read and think. So it's like, it's working. My brain is doing the thing. All right, I'm gonna get more Percy chips. These are actually really good. Bro, first of all, yeah, I'm definitely gonna read Demigod Files before Last Olympian for sure. Because, hold on, this is the perfect time to do it. Also, my voice is doing great. Thanks for asking. My voice is actually not hurting at all, which I'm very surprised about. I'm very shocked. I'm in like no pain, like at all. Immediately. I don't know if I showed you guys this already. I might have showed you guys. I don't remember. But regardless, I'm showing you again. As soon as I dropped this book, I got Demigod Files. I went out and bought it immediately. So that's exactly what I'm going to be reading. As soon as Battle of the Labyrinth is over. Inmediatamente. Right. Demigod Files has a few cool short stories and some fun insight from some characters. That's cool. I like when writers do stuff like that, like smaller stuff to expand the world. I assume that's the year between Percy turning 16. Demigod Files. Interesting. Okay. I wonder how you can even wait that long, though. But we'll see. We shall see. There were too many goodbyes. That night was the first time I actually saw camp burial shrouds used on bodies. And it was not something I wanted to see again. Oh no! Among the dead, Lee Frederick from Apollo cabin had been downed by a giant's club. He was wrapped in the golden shroud without any decoration. The son of Dionysus, who'd gone down fighting an enemy half-blood, was wrapped in a deep purple shroud, embroidered in the grapevines. His name was Castor. I was ashamed that I'd seen him around camp for the 3 years, and never even bothered to learn his name. He'd been 17 years old. His twin brother, Pollux, tried to say a few words, but he choked up and just took the torch. He lit the funeral pyre in the middle of the amphitheater, and within seconds, the row of shrouds was engulfed in fire, sending smoke and sparks up to the stars. We spent the next day treating the wounded, which was almost everybody. The satyrs and dryads worked to repair the damage to the woods. At noon, the Council of Cloven Elders held an emergency meeting in their sacred grove. The 3 senior satyrs were there, along with Chiron, who was in wheelchair form. His broken horse leg was still mending, so he would be confined to a wheelchair for a few months. Oh, that's cool that it works like that. It's cool that he can do that. Yeah, F's in the chat. F's in the chat for our fallen demigods. Shinzo Sasageo and all that. Until the leg was strong enough to take his weight. The grove was filled with satyrs and dryads and naiads from the water. The hundreds of them, anxious to hear what would happen. Juniper and Anoreth and I stood by Grover's side. Salinas wanted to exile Grover immediately, but Chiron persuaded him to at least hear evidence first. So he told everyone what happened in the Crystal Cavern, what Pan had said. Several eyewitnesses from the battle described the weird sound Grover had made, which drove the Titans' army back underground. It was panic, insisted Juniper. Grover summoned the power of the wild god. Panic! First of all, I love the name Panic. For a power, that's just cool. Panic? I asked. Percy, Chiron explained. During the first war of the god of the Titans, Lord Pan let forth a horrible cry that scared away the enemy armies. It was his greatest power. A massive wave of fear that helped the gods win the day. Grover is about to be a paramount player. It's literally like Conqueror's hockey. Like, Grover has Conqueror's hockey, bro. Out of all the characters in the story to get Conqueror's hockey-like ability, Grover? I'm with it. Yes. Grover Underwood, my boy. 1 second, hold on. My friend is calling me. We'll call back later. Streaming now. He's probably gonna jump on the chat. He honestly might jump on the chat now that I've told him that. Okay. But yeah, honestly, that's something that's like if you know Greek mythology, that's gonna be like a cool thing that, like, oh shit, they're putting this in. But like I like that, like, since I didn't know, I'm getting this reveal. But I didn't know Pan was that man. I didn't know he was a homie like that. The word panic is named after Pan, you see, and Grover used that power, calling it forth from within himself. I didn't know Greek mythology, obviously it makes sense because, like, Greek mythology is a very big thing, but it saved so much of, like, everything. Like the word panic came from that. Like, that's crazy. That's it's honestly teaching me so much about, like, world words that I just didn't even think about. Preposterous, when it's spelled. Sacrilege. Perhaps the wild god God favored us with a blessing, or perhaps Grover's music was so awful it scared the enemy away. That wasn't it, sir, Grover said. He sounded a lot calmer than I would have been if I'd been insulted like that. Now, Percy's like, run these hands right the fuck now, mister. He let his spirit pass into all of us. We must act. Each of us must work to renew the wild, to protect what's left of it. We must spread the word. Pan is dead. There is no one but us. Dude, I also, Pan is dead? It's like, it's such a weird way to inspire people, but I actually love it. Cause it's basically saying, don't wait for anybody to come save you. Save yourself. Like, ooh. That honestly, that realization made me realize, maybe the Pan chapter I like more. I still don't know if I still don't like it more than the Calypso chapter, but it's like, dude, don't wait for me to save your, like, dude. That's so good. That's so good. After 2,000 years of searching, this is what you would have us believe, Salinas cried. Never! We must continue the search. Exile the traitor. Some of the old satyrs muttered assent. A vote, Salinas demanded. Who would believe this ridiculous young satyr anyway? I would, said a familiar voice. Everyone turned, dreading to the grove. Was Dionysus? Let's go! Mr. D comes in clutch. He wore a formal black suit, so I almost didn't recognize him. A deep purple tie and a violet dress shirt. His curly dark hair carefully combed. His eyes were bloodshot as usual, and his pudgy face was flushed. But he looked like he was suffering from grief, more than wine withdrawal. His son dying. I'm sure he's sad about that. Panic is such a badass ability, putting the fear of God into your enemies until the only thing that makes sense is to run. That's so cool. The Cloven Elders are the kings of talking shit without doing anything to help. Yeah, clearly. Yes, it is a great message. Fuck. Pan is dead. Bro. That's just fire. Like, the irony in that. It's beautiful. That's a beautiful use of irony. Because usually that would be like despair. But he's like, no. Take up arms. Pan is dead. Fight for yourself. Like, man. The satyrs all stood respectfully and bowed as he approached. Dionysus waved his hand, and a new chair grew out of the ground next to Salinas, a throne made of grapevines. Dionysus sat down and crossed his legs. He snapped his fingers, and a satyr hurried forward with a plate of cheese and crackers and Diet Coke. The god of wine looked around at the assembled crowd. Miss me? Let's go, Mr. D. The satyrs fell over themselves, nodding and bowing. Oh yes, very much, sire. Well, I did not miss this place. I love this man. I bear bad news, my friends. Evil news. The minor gods are changing sides. Fuck. Morpheus has gone over to the enemy. Hecate, Janus, and Nemesis as well. Zeus knows how many more. Zeus knows how many more. I love that. Instead of God knows. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Strike that! Dionysus said. Even Zeus doesn't know. Now I want to hear Grover's story again. From the top. My lord, Salinas protested. It's just nonsense. Dionysus' eyes flared with purple fire. I have just learned that my son Castor is dead. Salinas, I am not in a good mood. You would do well to humor me. I love Dionysus being like a god. Like using his power. I love that. Salinas gulped and waved at Grover to start again. When Grover was done, Mr. D nodded. It sounded like just the sort of thing Pan would do. Grover is right. The search is tiresome. You must start thinking for yourselves. He turned to a satyr. Bring me some peeled grapes, right away. Yes, sire, the satyr scrambled off. You must exile the traitor, Salinas insisted. I say no. Dionysus countered. That is my vote. I vote no as well, Karen put in. Salinas said his jaw stumblingly. All in favor of exile? He and the two other old satyrs raised their hands. 3-1, Selena said. Ah yes, Dionysus said, but unfortunately for you, a god's vote counts twice. And as I voted against, we are tied. Selena stood indignant. This is an outrage. Why are you even respecting his authority? You're Dionysus. Be like, fuck you. The council cannot stand at an impasse. Then let it be dissolved, Mr. D said. I don't care. Selena's bowed stiffly along with his two friends, and they left the grove. About 20... They're not going to believe him? They're really not? About 20 satyrs went with them. The rest stood around murmuring uncomfortably. Don't worry, Grover told them. We don't need a council to tell us what to do. We can figure it out ourselves. He told them again the words of Pan, how they must save the wild a little at a time. He started dividing the satyrs into groups. Which ones would go to the national parks, which ones would search out the last wild places, which ones would defend the parks in big cities. Well, Annabelle said to me, Grover seems to be growing up. Later that afternoon, okay, so they are going to believe him. That's cool. Pan is dead, so do your best to be your own Pan. Yes, it's so good. Grover comes off so confident in this book. I love how he matured. Yeah, he really does. It's so, the scared little boy is no more. He's no more. Which they did not capture Grover's, like, fear in the Lightning Thief as well they should, as the Lightning Thief season as well as they should have. I really hope that gets, I don't know, exemplified in the later seasons so we can see his character arc come to fruition. Later that afternoon, I found Tyson at the beach, talking to Briareus. Briareus was building a sandcastle with about 50 of his hands. He wasn't really paying attention to it, but his hands had constructed a 3-story compound with fortified walls, a moat, and a drawbridge. Tyson was drawing a map in the sand. Go left at the reed, told Briareus. Straight down, you'll see the sunken ship, and about 1 mile east, past the mermaid graveyard, you will start to see fires burning. You're giving him direction to the forges? I asked. Tyson asked. Briareus wants to help. He will teach Cyclops ways we have forgotten. How to make better weapons and armor. I want to see Cyclops, Briareus agreed. I don't want to be lonely anymore. I doubt you'll be lonely down there, I said. A little wistfully, because I'd never even been in Poseidon's kingdom. They're going to keep you really busy. Briareus' face morphed to a happy expression. Busy sounds good. I only wish Tyson could go too. Tyson blushed. I need to stay here with my brother. You will do fine, Briareus. Thank you. Vendred handed one, shook my hand about 100 times. We'll meet again, Percy. I know it. Then he gave Tyson a big octopus hug and waded out into the ocean. He walked until his enormous head disappeared under the waves. I clapped Tyson on the back. You helped him a lot. I only talked to him. You believed in him. Without Briareus, we never would have taken down Campe. Tyson grinned. He throws good rocks. He does throw good rocks. This is science. I laughed. Yeah, he throws really good rocks. Come on, big guy. Let's have dinner. It felt good to have a regular dinner at camp. Tyson sat with me at Poseidon table. The sunset over Long Island sound was beautiful. Things weren't back to normal by a long shot, but when I went up to the brazier and scraped part of my meal into the flames, as an offering to Poseidon, I felt like I really did have a lot to be grateful for. My friends and I were alive, the camp was safe, Kronos had suffered a setback, at least for a while. The only thing that bothered me was Nico, hanging out in the shadows at the edge of the pavilion. He'd been offered a place at the Hermes table, even at the head table with Chiron, but he had refused. After dinner, the campers headed toward the amphitheater, where Apollo's cabin promised an awesome sing-along to pick up our spirits, but Nico turned and disappeared into the woods. I decided I'd better follow him. As I passed under the shadows of the trees, I realized how dark it was getting. I'd never been scared in the forest before, though I knew there were plenty of monsters. Still, I thought about yesterday's battle, and I wondered if I'd ever be able to walk in these woods again without remembering the horror of so much fighting. I couldn't see Nico, but after a few minutes of walking, I saw a glow up ahead. At first, I thought Nico had lit up a torch. As I got closer, I realized the glow was a ghost. The shimmering form of Bianca D'Angelo stood in the clearing, smiling at her brother. She said something to him and touched his face, or tried to. Then her image faded. Nico turned and saw me, but he didn't look mad. "Saying goodbye," he said hoarsely. "We missed you at dinner," I said. "You could have sat with me." "No." "Nico, you can't miss every meal. If you don't want to stay with Hermes, maybe they can make an exception and put you in the big house. I've got plenty of rooms." "I'm not staying, Percy." "But you can't just leave. It's too dangerous out there for a lone half-blood. You need to train." "You do need to train, Nico. Quit being a little bitch." "I train with the dead," he said flatly. "This camp isn't for me. There's a reason they didn't put a cabin to Hades here." "Yes, I get it. I get it, but shut up and stay, please." "Hades here, Percy. He's not welcome any more than he is on Olympus. I don't belong. I have to go." I wanted to argue, but part of me knew he was right. I didn't like it, but Nico would have to find his own dark way. I remembered in Pan's cave how the wild god had addressed each one of us individually, except Nico. Dang, he really didn't say anything to Nico. That's crazy. I forgot that. I didn't even realize that. When will you go? I asked. "Right away. I've got tons of questions. Like, who was my mother? Who paid for Bianca and me to go to school? Who was the lawyer who got us out of the Lotus Hotel? I know nothing about my past. I need to find out." "Makes sense," I admitted. "But I hope we didn't have to be enemies. We don't have to be enemies." He lowered his gaze. "I'm sorry. I was a brat. I should have listened to you about Bianca. By the way, I fished something out of my pocket. Tyson found this while we were cleaning the cabin. Thought you might want it." I held out a lead figurine of Hades, the little myth of magic statue Nico had abandoned when he fled camp last winter. Nico hesitated. "I don't play the game anymore. It's for kids." "It's got 4,000 attack power," I coaxed. 5-3. Let's go. Nico's I love that. The little nerd, the little geek in Nico that he tried to kill by being edgy and cool is still there. Ugh. 5,000, Nico corrected. "But only if your opponent attacks first." I smiled. Maybe it's okay to still be a kid once in a while. This book, man. I tossed in the statue. Nico studied it in his palm for a few seconds, then slipped it into his pocket. "Thanks." I put out my hand. He shook reluctantly. His hand was as cold as ice. "I've got a lot of things to investigate," he said. Some of them, well, if I learn anything useful, I'll let you know." I wasn't sure what he meant, but I nodded. "Keep in touch, Nico." "Yeah, iris messages are a thing." He turned and trudged off into the woods. I want to see these Nico adventures so bad. The shadows seemed to bend over him as he walked, like they were reaching out for his attention. "Dude, that's so cool." A voice right behind me said, "There goes a very troubled young man." I turned and found Dionysus standing there, still in his black suit. "Walk with me," he said. "Where to?" I asked suspiciously. "Just to the campfire," he said. I was beginning to feel better, so I thought I would talk with you a bit. You always manage to annoy me. Does he not want to feel better? Or I'm really surprised to see Dionysus here. That's crazy. But I love Percy and Dionysus interactions. I was wondering if you'd catch that. I love how Nico corrects him. Yes, it's great. No, I didn't catch it. I didn't notice. But I'm glad Percy pointed it out. Remember, Nico is like 11. Yeah, he is. But he seems a lot older than he is because he really isn't. He had to grow up, you know. We walked through the woods in silence. I noticed that Dionysus was treading on air, his polished black shoes hovering an inch off the ground. I guess he didn't want to get them dirty. We have had many betrayals, he said. Things are not looking good for Olympus. Yet you and Annabeth saved this camp. I'm not sure I should thank you for that. It was a group effort. He shrugged regardless. I suppose it was a mildly competent what you two did. I thought you should know. It wasn't a total loss. We reached the amphitheater, and Dionysus pointed toward the campfire. Clarice was sitting shoulder to shoulder with a big Hispanic kid who was telling her a joke. It was Chris Rodriguez. Let's go. The half-blood who'd gone insane in the labyrinth. I turned to Dionysus. You cured him. Madness is my specialty. It was quite simple. But you did something nice. Why? He raised an eyebrow. I am nice. I simply ooze nice as Perry Johannesson. Haven't you noticed? I freaking love Dionysus. What a great character. Perhaps I felt grieved by my son's death. Perhaps I thought this Chris boy deserved a second chance. At any rate, it seems to have improved Clarice's mood. Why are you telling me this? The wine guy sighed. Oh, Hades, if I know. But remember, boy, that a kind act can sometimes be as powerful as a sword. As a mortal, I was never a great fighter. Or athlete or poet. I only made wine. People in my village laughed at me and said I would never amount to anything. Look at me now. Some small things can become very, very large indeed. Dang, this chapter. He left me alone to think about that. As I watched Clarice and Chris singing a stupid campfire song together, holding hands in the darkness, and I thought nobody could see them, I had to smile. Dang, Clarice and Chris are like a thing. That's so cute. Man, I gotta look at. Let me remember what this chapter was called again. The council gets cloven. Okay. But man, that I love every Dionysus interaction, and this was a Dionysus chapter. If I've ever seen one, wholesome Clarice moment for sure. At the end, I want more Clarice. I wish she was a more realized rival. Like there was a more constant battle between her and Percy. But I still like her character nonetheless. Like Nico is honestly probably a better rival for Percy, in all honesty. But I still really like Clarice and how she is. I didn't know Dionysus was immortal before he became a god. Now I'm really curious about his story. I wonder how that happened. I did not know mortals could become gods, but I guess they can. That's crazy. So, man, Dionysus, dude. Oh yeah, his daddy was Zeus the whole time. Mortal mom, God. So Dionysus was a demigod. Dionysus was originally a demigod. That's whoa. What? That's insane. That makes the story a whole lot cooler, knowing Dionysus was originally a demigod and became a god. That's so cool. Man, what a freak. I just love Dionysus. He's one of my favorite characters. Easily a top 10 character for me. We know the real rival of Percy's Aphrodite throwing the haymakers in the form of Calypso. Yeah. She is throwing... Dude, Dionysus is throwing heavy-ass haymakers, bro. She's throwing road rollers at this man. With like... Dude, yeah, for sure. Aphrodite is a threat. We only have one more chapter to go. One more chapter to go. I don't know how long this is gonna be, but this is like, it looks thin. I don't know. It might be like, how many more? Honestly, I think this is gonna be, I don't know, probably a 20 page chapter. Honestly, this is looking like, I'm glad you got that reference. I would have folded for who? Calypso or Rachel? I'm glad you got that reference though, Anthony. Also, what is it? This is actually going to be a shorter stream than the last one, which I didn't think was possible, but it is. That's pretty cool. Rachel, 100% facts, bro. That's so facts. If I was in Percy's shoes, though, I also, it's crazy to say, but I also would not have folded for Calypso. I would have wanted to stay so bad, but I would have had to leave. Like, that's how you know that not only this writing, but like Greek mythology as a whole. Because I'm sure this is a thing in the original mythology, or maybe it's not. I have no idea. But at least at the very least, this writing for Calypso, and that I've seen her in, is so good. Because I would have had to leave. I would have been like, I'm sorry, I have to go. Like, that, whoa, that's just, man. This is such a great series. I wish I had read them when I was younger, when I was Percy's age. Would have been a lot more fun for me to be like, oh my god, I'm 15, let me go on a quest, you know what I mean? But now I'm 19, trying to go on quests. So, it is what it is. I'm gonna be going on quests. I forgot about Ethan. Did we talk about him? Ooh, we didn't really talk about Ethan. We talked about him when he was there. He did have a big role. He did have a really big role. And I liked him a lot. Like, it was revenge that fueled Kronos' wanting to come back. He wanted to get revenge on the gods. And it was revenge in one of its purest forms. That was the thing that let him come back, which I like a lot. The worst part for Calypso is it is so tempting to stay, but never enough to make someone's day. Yes. Man. Dude. No, this is so good. Alright. Final chapter of the stream. Final chapter, baby. My birthday party takes a dark turn. Alright. I will finally have completed Battle of the Labyrinth. I'm going to blaze through Demigod Files. Then we're on The Last Olympian. The rest of the summer seemed strange because it was so normal. Daily activities continued. Archery, rock climbing, Pegasus riding. We played Capture the Flag, though we all avoided Zeus's fist. We sang at the campfire and raced chariots and played practical jokes on the other cabins. Spent a lot of time with Tyson, playing with Mrs. O'Leary, but she would still howl at night when she got lonely for her old master. Damn. Annabeth and I pretty much skirted around each other. I was glad to be with her, but it also kind of hurt. And it hurt when I wasn't with her too. I wanted to talk to her about Kronos, but I couldn't do that anymore without bringing up Luke. And that was one subject I couldn't raise. She would shut me out every time I tried. July passed, with fireworks on the beach. On the 4th, August turned so hot, the strawberries started baking in the fields. Finally, the last day of camp arrived. The standard form letter appeared on my bed after breakfast, warning me that the cleaning harpies would devour me if I stayed past noon. At 10 o'clock, I stood on the top of Half-Blood Hill. Hold on. I wonder, here's my theory. We've had, so far, a Percy's mom rescue arc, which I didn't realize was a rescue arc until I thought back, until Athena made me clear about Percy's fatal flaw, which I love. Percy's mom rescue arc, book 1. Actually, I'll save that for the end. I'll save my theory for the end of the after I finish. But if I forget, someone remind me, because I might forget what I was gonna say. At 10 o'clock, I stood on top of Half-Blood Hill, waiting for the camp van that would take me into the city. I'd make arrangements to leave Mrs. O'Leary at camp, where Karen promised she'd be looked after. Tyson and I would take turns visiting her during the year. I hoped Annabeth would be riding into Manhattan with me, but she only came to see me off. She said she'd arranged to stay at camp a little longer. She would tend to Kyron until his leg was fully recovered and keep studying Daedalus' laptop, which had engrossed her for the last 2 months. Then she would head back to her father's place in San Francisco. There's a private school out there that I'll be going to, she said. I'll probably hate it, but she shrugged. Yeah, well, call me, okay? Sure, she said half-heartedly. I'll keep my eyes open for. There it was again. Luke. She couldn't even say his name, without opening a huge box of hurt and worry and anger. Annabeth, I said, what was the rest of the prophecy? Finally tell me! I've been waiting, bro. She fixed her eyes on the woods in the distance, but she didn't say anything. You shall delve in the darkness of the endless maze. I remembered the dead, the traitor, and the lost one raise. Dang, the dead, the traitor, and the lost one raise. We raised a lot of dead. We saved Ethan Nakamura. Who turned out to be a traitor. We raised the spirit of Pam, the lost one. Emma shook her head. And she wanted me to stop. We shall rise or fall by the Ghost King's hand. I pressed on. That wasn't Minos like I thought. It was Nico by choosing to be on our side. Yes, dude. Even the Oracle calls Nico the Ghost King. Bro. Speaker of the Prophecies calls him the Ghost King. Nah, bro. Nico really is that man. Fate when the person who interprets destiny itself calls you the Ghost King, that's how you know you're a badass. Oh man. Right. Choosing to be on our side, he saved us. And the child of Athena's final stand. That was Daedalus. Percy. Destroy with the hero's final breath. That makes sense now. Daedalus died to destroy the Labyrinth. But was the last? And lose a love to worse than death. Annabeth had tears in her eyes. That was the last line, Percy. Are you happy now? The sun seemed colder than I had a moment ago. Oh, I said. So Luke, Percy, I didn't know what the prophecy was talking about. I didn't know if she faltered helplessly. Luke and I, for years, he was the only one who really cared about me. I thought, before she continued, a sparkle of light appeared next to us, like someone had opened a gold curtain in the air. We had nothing to apologize for. My dear, standing on the hill was a tall woman in a white dress, her dark hair braided over her shoulder. Hera's here. Hera, and I said, bro, she didn't know if her love that she was going to lose was Percy or Luke. That's a crazy love triangle that you're in right now. Like, thinking about Percy, bro. And lose a love to worse than death. That's crazy. Percy reacted exactly how I react when my crush tells me to like someone else. Oh. Amazing that last line that messes with her head the entire time, I know. Nico is not even 12 and he has the elite title of the Ghost King. I know, dude, that's so sick. Tell us, I will, at the end of the chapter, I promise. Just remind me. Hera, Emma said. I got a smile. You found the answers as I knew you would. Your quest was a success. A success! Emma said. Luke is gone. Daedalus is dead. Pan is dead. How is that? Our family is safe, Hera insisted. Those others are better gone, my dear. I'm proud of you. Remember that thing you guys said about hating Hera? Ditto. Ditto. I couldn't believe she was... I balled my fist. I couldn't believe she was saying this. You're the one who paid Garion to let us to the ranch, weren't you? Hera shrugged. Her dress shimmered in rainbow colors. I wanted to speed you on your way. But you didn't care about Nico. You were happy to see him turned over to the Titans. Oh, please. Hera waved her hand dismissively. The son of Hades said it himself. No one wants him around. He does not belong. Hephaestus was right, I growled. You only care about your perfect family. not real people. Her eyes turned dangerously bright. Watch yourself, son of Poseidon. I guided you more than you know in the maze. I was at your side when you faced Geryon, and let your arrow fly straight. Oh, you did. It wasn't Apollo and Artemis. I sent you to Calypso's island. I opened the way to Titan's mountain. Annabeth, my dear, surely you see how I've helped. I would welcome a sacrifice for my efforts. Annabeth stood still as a statue. She could have said thank you. She could have promised to throw some barbecue on the brazier for Hera and forget the whole thing. But she clenched her jaw stubbornly. She looked just the way she had when she faced the Sphinx. But she wasn't going to accept any easy answer, even if it got her in serious trouble. I realized that was the one thing I liked best about Annabeth. Percy is right. She turned her back on the goddess. You're the one who doesn't belong, Queen Hera. So next time, thanks, but no thanks. Hera's sneer was worse than the imposed. Her form began to glow. You will regret this insult, Annabeth. You will regret this very much. I averted my eyes, and the goddess turned into her true form and disappeared into a blaze of light. The hilltop was peaceful. Over at the pine tree, Peleus, the dragon, dozed under the golden fleece, as if nothing had happened. I'm sorry, Annabeth told me. I should get back. I'll keep in touch. Listen, Annabeth. I thought about Mount St. Helens, Calypso's island, Luke and Rachel Elizabeth there. Now suddenly, everything had gotten so complicated. I wanted to tell Annabeth that I didn't really want to be so distant from her. Then Argus honked his horn down at the road, and I lost my chance. You better get going, Annabeth said. Take care, Seaweed Brain. She jogged down the hill. I watched her until she reached the cabins. She didn't look back once. She jogged down the hill. I watched her until she reached the cabins. She didn't look back once. Seaweed Brain. Also, Seaweed Brain as a nickname I like. It's fun. It's a play. Wise Girl I like less. Why? I mean, it's fine, but it's not the most creative thing in the world. Seaweed Brain is a lot more fun, I think. 2 days later, it's my birthday. I never advertised the date because it always fell right after camp, so none of my camp friends could usually come, and I didn't have that many mortal friends. Besides, getting older didn't seem like anything to celebrate since I'd gotten the big prophecy about me destroying or saving the world when I turned 16. Now I was turning 15. I was running out of time. My mom threw me a small party at our apartment. Paul Blofus came over, but that was okay, because Karen had manipulated the mist to convince everyone at good high that I had done nothing to do with the band explosion. Now Paul and the other witnesses were convinced that Kelly had been a crazy firebomb throwing cheerleader, while I had simply been an innocent bystander who panicked and run from the scene. I would still be allowed to start as a freshman at Good next month. If I wanted to keep my record of getting kicked out of school every year, I'd have to try harder. Tyson came to my party too. Let's go! My mother baked 2 extra blue cakes just for him. That's awesome. While Tyson helped my mom blow up party balloons, Paul Blofeld asked me to help him in the kitchen. As we were pouring punch, he said, I hear your mom signed you up for driver's ed this fall. Yeah, it's cool. I can't wait. Oh, Percy's gonna be able to drive next book? That's gonna be fun. Seriously, I'd been excited about getting my license forever, but I guess my heart wasn't in it anymore, and Paul could tell. In a weird way, he reminded me of Chiron sometimes. How he could look at you and actually see your thoughts. I guess it was that teacher aura. Rick is gassing himself up right now. You'd have a rough time, he said. I'm guessing you lost someone important? And girl trouble? I stared at him. How do you know that? Did my mom... He held up his hand. Your mom hasn't said a thing, and I won't pry. I just know there's something unusual about you, Percy. You've got a lot going on that I can't figure. But I was also 15 once, and I'm just guessing from your expression, well, you've had a rough time. I nodded. I'd promised my mom I would tell Paul the truth about me, but now it didn't seem the time. Not yet. I lost a couple of friends at this camp I go to, I said. I mean, not close friends, but still, I'm sorry. And yeah, I guess the girl stuff. Here, go ahead and me some punch. To your 15th birthday, and to a better year next year. Ooh, Paul. Ball. Ooh. Anyways, I don't know, man. I think she's pretty cool. Who said that? Oh, me. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, Hera's a bitch. Honestly, I hate Hera more than I hate Zeus now, to be honest. Dang. Dude. We tapped our paper cups together and drank. Percy, I kind of feel bad giving you one more thing to think about, Paul said, but I want to ask you something. Yeah? Yeah? Girl stuff. I frowned. What do you mean? Your mom, Paul said. I'm thinking about proposing to her. I almost dropped my cup, bro. I mean, it's been like a year. Has it been a year? It's been at least 6 months. Maybe it's been only 6 months. Paul, I don't know. What's Percy gonna say? How long have you been dating? You mean marrying her? You and her? Well, that was the general idea. Would that be okay with you? Paul was a goat. She asked the son before. Freaking love Paul. You're asking my permission. Paul scratched his beard. I don't know if it's permission so much, but she's your mother, and I know you're going through a lot. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't talk to you about it first, man to man. Paul, I'm gonna be really honest with you. If anybody's the man here, it's Percy Jackson. I've kicked more ass than you. I face the gods. Man to man, I repeated. It sounded strange saying that. I thought about Paul and my mom. How she'd smiled and laughed more whenever he was around, and how Paul had gone out of his way to get me into high school. I found myself saying, I think that's a great idea. Paul, go for it. He smiled really wide. Cheers, Percy. Let's join the party. I was just getting ready to blow out candles when the doorbell rang. My mom frowned. Who could that be? Is it Poseidon? Poseidon? It was weird because our new building had a doorman, but he hadn't called up or anything. My mom opened the door and gasped. It was my dad. Let's go! Freaking called it. I don't know why I knew that, but I did. It was Poseidon with the dub, with the entrance. You love to see it. Interrupting the love. He's like, you propose to my Sally Jackson. I think not, Paul. Be gone with you, and Paul's gonna get vaporized. He was my dad. He was, dude, Sally hasn't seen him for years. He's wearing Bermuda shorts and a Hawaiian shirt and Birkenstocks, like he usually does. His blonde beard was neatly trimmed, and his sea green eyes twinkled. He wore a battered cap decorating with fish lures. It said Neptune's lucky fishing hat, since he's Neptune, right? Okay, so his mom did know who he was. My mother said. Mother stopped herself. She was blushing, right? Right to the roots of her hair. Hello. So she did know. She just didn't get a chance to tell Percy. I mean, bro, Sally, in the car, you could have been like, by the way, your dad's Poseidon. Like, you would have said shit, but I guess you didn't want to do that. Yeah, dismissing Luke makes sense because he is a lost cause, but reaffirming that no one wants Nico around is a bitch move. I know, right? Little did he know. Freaking called it. He's gonna give Percy a water gun for his birthday. It's like, Dad, thanks and all, but I can kind of control the whole ocean, so... The volcano, you know that was me. It was your boy, Percy Jackson. Hello, Sally, Poseidon said. You look as beautiful as ever. May I come in? Poseidon spitting game immediately. No mortal is gonna spit more game than Poseidon. Her mother made a squeaking sound that might have been either yes or help. Poseidon took it as a yes and came in. Paul was looking back and forth between us, trying to read our expressions. Finally, he stepped forward. Hi, I'm Paul Blowfist. Poseidon raised his eyebrows as they shook hands. Blowfish, did you say? Like father, like son. Like father, like son. I love that. I love that. I love getting to see more Poseidon. No, Blowfish actually. Oh, I see, Poseidon said. A shame. I quite like Blowfish. I am Poseidon. He's just gonna introduce himself. What is going on? What is going on? Poseidon. That's an interesting name. Yes, I like it. I've gone by other names, but I do prefer Poseidon. Oh, he's not going to reveal himself? He's just like, yeah, my mom named me Poseidon. You know what it is. Like the god of the sea? Very much like... Yes. Well, my mom interrupted. We're so glad you could drop by, Paul. This is Percy's father. I love this chapter. It says, "Hi, I'm God." Yeah. It's literally what that's so funny, bro. That's so funny. Your dad is Poseidon. That's so funny. That's... Paul nodded. Though he didn't look real pleased. Of course he wouldn't be. You're about to propose. Dad comes in. He's God. It's a very difficult situation to be in. Poseidon smiled at me. There you are, my boy. And Tyson. Hello, son. Daddy! Tyson bounded across the room. And I love Tyson. Gave Poseidon a big hug, which almost knocked him off his fishing hat. Bro, Percy, you never hugged him. Give this man a hug, bro. Paul's jaw dropped. He stared at my mom. Tyson is not mine, she promised. It's a long story. Yeah, it's like you don't want to worry about it. He's Percy's half brother. It's fine. I love that. He didn't know. I couldn't miss Percy's 15th birthday, Poseidon said. Why, if this were Sparta, Percy would be a man today. I love that Rick is telling that us for the people who didn't get it. Man to man. Man to man. That's... Oh, I love that. It's such a small thing. That's true, Paul said. I used to teach ancient history. Poseidon's eyes twinkled. That's me, ancient history. Sally, Paul, Tyson. Would you mind if I borrowed Percy for just a moment? He put his arm around me and steered me into the kitchen. He was cool missing the other 14, though. He was like, yeah, listen, gonna have to go, but I'll see you. I'll see you in 15 years. You know what it is? At the very least, I'll see you then. Because he had to, becoming a man and all that. He put his arm around me and steered me into the kitchen. Once we were alone, his smile faded. Are you alright, my boy? Yeah, I'm fine, I guess. I heard stories, Poseidon said, but I wanted to hear it directly from you. Tell me everything. So I did. It was disconcerting, because Poseidon listened so intently, his eyes never left my face. His expression didn't change the whole time I talked. When I was done, he nodded slowly. So Kronos is indeed back. It will not be long before full war is upon us. What about Luke, I said. Is he really gone? I don't know, Percy. It is most disturbing. But his body is mortal. Couldn't you just destroy him? Poseidon looked troubled. Mortal, perhaps. But there is something different about Luke, my boy. I don't know how he was prepared. I don't know how he was prepared to host a Titan. I don't know how he was prepared to host a Titan soul, but he will not be easily killed. And yet, I fear he must be killed if we are to send Kronos back to the pit. Annabeth is not going to like that. I will have to think on this. Unfortunately, I have other problems of my own. I remembered what Tyson had told me at the beginning of the summer. The old sea gods. Indeed, the battle came first to me, Percy. In fact, I cannot stay long. Even now, the ocean is at war with itself. It is all I can do to keep hurricanes and typhoons from destroying your service world. The fighting is so intense. Let me come down there, I said. Let me help. Poseidon's eyes crinkled as he smiled. Not yet, my boy. I sense you will be needed here. Which reminds me, he brought out a sand doll and pressed it into my hand. Your birthday present. Spend it wisely. Spend a sand dollar? Oh yes, in my day you could buy quite a lot with a sand dollar. I think you will find it buys a lot, if used in the right situation. What situation? When the time comes, Poseidon said, I think you'll know. Buddy, I get it. You're a god and all. You like being dramatic. But we're about to have war. I don't think this was the time for, little riddles, little mysteries. I closed my hand around the sand dollar, but something was really bothering me. Dad. This is the first time I think he said dad. Dad, I said. When I was in the maze, I met Antaeus. He said, Well, he said he was your favorite son. He decorated his arena with skulls and he dedicated them to me, Poseidon supplied. And you are wondering how someone could do something so horrible in my name. I nod uncomfortably. Poseidon put his weathered hand on my shoulder. Percy, lesser beings do many horrible things in the name of the gods. It does not mean we gods approve. The way our sons and daughters act in our names, well, it usually says more about them than it does about us. And you, Percy, are my favorite son. Ugh! Let's go. Let's go. Boomer Poseidon, back in my day. Percy's his favorites. I love that. Bro, Rick has just decided to stack a bunch of... He's stacking moment on moment on moment, and it's just... Ooh, it's so good. He smiled, and at that moment, just being in the kitchen with him was the best birthday present I ever got. Then my mom called for me from the living room. Percy, the candles are melting. You better go, Poseidon said. But Percy, one last thing you should know. That incident at Mount St. Helens, for a second I thought he was talking about Annabeth kissing me. And I blushed. But then I realized he was talking about something a lot bigger. The eruptions are continuing, he said. Typhon is stirring. It is very likely that soon, in a few months, perhaps a year at best, he will escape his bonds. I'm sorry, I said. I didn't mean... Poseidon raised his hands. It is not your fault, Percy. It would have happened sooner or later. With Kronos awakening, the ancient monsters, but be aware, if Typhon stirs, it will be unlike anything you faced before. The first time he appeared, all the forces of Olympus were barely enough to battle him. And when he stirs again, he will come here, to New York. He will make straight for Olympus. That was just the kind of wonderful news I wanted to get on my birthday. Poseidon patted me on the back, like everything was fine. I should go. Enjoy your cake. Just like that, turned to mist, and stepped out of the window on a warm ocean breeze. Why would you do that? You can walk out the door. It took a little work to convince Paul that Poseidon had left via the fire escape. But since people can't vanish into thin air, he had no choice but to believe it. We ate blue cake and ice cream until we couldn't eat anymore. Then we played a bunch of cheesy party games, like charades and Monopoly. Tyson didn't get charades. He kept shouting at the answer. He was trying to mime. I love Dyson, man. But it turned out he was really good at Monopoly. He knocked me out of the game in the first 5 seconds and started bankrupting my mom and pa. I left them playing and went into my bedroom. I set an uneaten slice of birthday cake on my dresser. Then I took off my Camp Half-Blood necklace and laid it on the windowsill. There were 3 beads. Now, representing my 3 summers at camp. A trident, the golden fleece, and the latest, an intricate maze, a symbol of the Battle of the Labyrinth. Roll credits, roll book credits, and the book, close the book, as the campers had started to call it. I wondered what next year's bead would be. If I was still going to get, if I was still around to, I wondered what next year's bead would be, if I was still around to get it, if the camp survived until next summer. I looked at the telephone by my bedside. I thought about calling Rachel Elizabeth Dare. My mom had asked me if there was anyone else I wanted to have over tonight. I thought about Rachel, but I didn't call. Bitch! I don't know why the idea had made me almost nervous as a door into the labyrinth. Call her! I patted my pocket and emptied out my stuff. Riptide, a Kleenex, my apartment key. But I patted my shirt pocket and felt a small lump. I hadn't even realized. I was wearing the white cotton shirt Calypso had given me on Ogygia. I brought out a little piece of cloth, unwrapped it, and found the clipping of moon lace. It was a tiny sprig, shriveled up after 2 months. But I could still smell the faint scent of the enchanted garden. It made me sad. I remembered Calypso's last request to me. Plant a garden in Manhattan for me, will you? I opened the window and stepped into the fire escape. My mom kept a planter box up there. In the spring, she usually filled it with flowers, but now it was all dirt, waiting for something new. It was a clear night. The moon was full over 82nd Street. I planted the dried sprig of moon lace carefully in the dirt and sprinkled a little nectar on it from my camp canteen. Nothing happened at first. As I watched a tiny sliver plant sprang out of the soil, a baby moonlace, glowing in the warm summer night. Nice plant, a voice said. I jumped. Nico D'Angelo was standing on the fire escape right next to me. He just appeared there. Sorry, he said. Didn't mean to startle you. It's okay. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing here? He'd grown about an inch taller over the last couple of months. His hair was a shaggy black mess. He wore a black t-shirt, black jeans, and a new silver ring shaped like a skull. Nico was so edgy. His Stygian iron sword hung at his side. I've done some exploring, he said. Thought you'd like to know. Daedalus got his punishment. You saw him. Nico nodded. Minos wanted to boil him in cheese. Cheese fondue for eternity. My father had other ideas. Daedalus will be building overpasses and exit ramps in Asphodel for all time. It'll help ease the traffic congestion. Truthfully, I think the old guy's pretty happy with it. He's still building, still creating, and he gets to see his son and Perdix on the weekends. That's good. Dang. Dude, freaking Minos is seething right now. He's like, as a punishment, you gave him the thing he loves doing the most? The fuck? By the way, you would cause the destruction of the world, as you know it. Okay, go eat cake and have a good birthday. Yeah, Poseidon's a crazy dad, but you're my favorite. My favorite. Saying that right next to Tyson is crazy too. Saying that right next to Tyson, man. Nico tapped at his silver ring, but that's not the real reason I've come. I found out some other things. I want to make you an offer. What? The way to beat Luke, he said. If I'm right, it's the only way he'll stand a chance. I took a deep breath. Okay, I'm listening. Nico glanced inside my room. His eyes furrowed. Is that blue birthday cake? Nico, get on top. Let's stay on topic. We can eat birthday cake later, okay? He sounded hungry, maybe a little wistful. I wondered if the poor kid had ever had a birthday party. So if he'd ever been invited to one. Come inside for cake and ice cream, I said. Sounds like we've got a lot to talk about. No! There's no way! What? That's the end? That's how they end that. There's no way that's how they end that. The fuck? Love that cliffhanger. It is a good cliffhanger, but still. I gotta read a whole half book before I get to this. I think it's interesting, though, that it's showtime. Oh, you guys are so hyped for The Last Olympian. You guys are so hyped for this. I just think it's still interesting that The Battle of Labyrinth is still only the second longest Percy Jackson book. Only the second longest. Lightning Thief is still longer by 7 pages. Hold on. I'm gonna read the last line of this Last Olympian thing, which is wish me luck. That's the last line of the Last Olympian preview, which is only half the chapter even. Man. Oh. Okay. No, 1 second. Let's be honest. It wasn't a contest. Percy's clearly the favorite. Yes, but still. Tyson is great. Yeah. You can't wait, bro. I'm so hyped. I'm nothing but high predictions for the Last Olympian. Whether that's good or bad, we'll find out when I finally read it. You're reading the first chapter on it though right now? No, I just read the last line. Like at the end of the book, there's a little preview thingy. I like the next chapter. I heard the last line of that thing, which is only half the chapter. Now we need the explanation on saving Percy's mom makes Lightning Thief a rescue arc. We need to read the book synopsis. Oh yes, we need to do those two things. Hold on. I'll read the book synopsis first, and I'll say my thing afterwards. Hold on. Percy Jackson isn't expecting freshman orientation to be any fun. But when a mysterious mortal acquaintance appears on campus, followed by demon cheerleaders, things move quickly from bad to worse. In this fourth installment of the blockbuster series, time is running out as war between the Olympians and the evil Titan Lord Kronos draws near. Even the safe haven of Camp Half-Blood grows more vulnerable by the minute. As Kronos' army prepares to invade its once impenetrable borders, to stop the invasion, Percy and his demigod friends must set out on a quest through the Labyrinth, a sprawling underground world with stunning surprises at every turn. Not bad. Not bad. I was gonna say it's the worst one, but it's actually the second best, I think. It's like, oh shit, invasion? Oh shit? Like, that's like, what I would get about it. Well, good. They cannot keep doing this. They cannot keep yelling at me. Alright, but anyways. Thingy. My theory. Okay, this is my theory. Because I have said since the very beginning, I hope Luke gets a redemption arc. I really hope Luke gets a redemption arc. That's my whole thing. I think it'd be a pretty waste of his character to make him just an evil dude. So I hope he does. Don't tell me if he does or not. I'm just saying what my hopes are. So I'm saying, since the first book was rescue arc for Percy's mom, second book was a Grover rescue arc, the third book was an Annabeth rescue arc. The fourth book, this was just like what, a rescue arc for Camp Half-Blood in general. Not really even a rescue arc, more of just a search mission. But if we're following the theme, I think the next book is gonna be a Luke rescue arc. That's what I think is gonna be. I think Percy's gonna have to see the good in Luke that he's been denying this whole time. See the Luke has been worsened, and in the end choose to save him. That is what I feel is gonna happen. That's my theory for the last game. That's my only theory for the last Olympian. Hold on, but let me. What are your thoughts on how Luke still loves Annabeth? I mean, we kind of knew that the whole time, right? That she was like, still cared about Luke, still really, like worried about him, still wanted to save him, and that I think it makes sense, and I actually really like that. I like that reveal. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was fun, and it's like it makes sense for Annabeth's character. It increases her like. I love Annabeth's relationship to Luke. That basically like. It's really interesting, something that you don't see too much in media, that it's like the secondary side character basically has the closest relationship with the villain, and the hero, the main character, struggles to relate, versus like, you love my theory, thank you. I don't know what that means, but I'm not gonna read too much into it. Thank you. But I think that like usually it's like the main character has like a relationship with a villain, like directly, where it comes to as like hating him, having a personal past, having a personal connection, whatever that is. So so it's like it's interesting seeing a hero have to struggle to relate, to understand why somebody could possibly care about this person who's so evil, because all Percy sees is, you pretend to be my friend, you betrayed me. But Annabeth sees like, you were a good person. I've known you for all these years. And it's like, and I don't. You're not this person. Like, I still believe you're worth saving. Like, you're a good guy. And Percy just can't see that. He can't understand it. And Percy's a person who's like, would like take on the world for his friends, as Athena said. It's a big thing. Like, it's a big thing that he doesn't see Luke as a friend, because he does not even want to try. So if Percy were to try, then like it would probably work, I think. What are your thoughts? Yeah, that's basically that. It kind of like turned to something else, but you get it. If you want to, you can read the mini stories in a stream. I could, but I think I'm gonna read Demigod Files by myself. It's such a short book, and having to, in all honesty, having to plan out these streams is the only thing that takes me longer reading through these books. I enjoy them. I love doing them, so I'm going to keep doing them. But if I didn't want to read it with you guys on stream, I'd be done with the whole series by now. I would have missed Demigod Files for sure. But I would be done with the whole series right now. But I'm glad I did, because I got to find out about things like Demigod Files and Demigod Diaries, which is something I actually looked at in the library. I kind of flipped through the chapter titles, and it's a lot of some of it seems interesting, and some of it's just kind of like random shit. So it's not like a full dedication thing like this is. But I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to rank Battle of the Labyrinth. I think I'm also gonna have to give it a 9. I think it and Titan's Curse are like here for me. I think they're at the same level. Like, Titan's Curse had higher like emotional moments and more characters that I enjoyed all around, like Balia. Well, not more, because Tyson was there and I freaking love Tyson. I can't decide if Tyson or Percy's my favorite character. But Zoe's Hercules backstory, yeah. So many emotional highs in this one. And this one had great like storytelling overall and great isolated chapters, but the emotional highs I think in Titan's Curse are much higher. So my favorite moment in the entire series to this date still, it's yet to be topped, and I wonder if it ever will. My favorite moment in the entire series is Sea of Monsters when Tyson goes, "I prayed for you." Like, that hit me. That is the closest I've ever come to crying reading Percy Jackson. When Tyson said that, dude, there's no way. But yeah, good. I want to think about that thing I said earlier about my favorite chapters. So I wonder if there are any specific Titan's Curse chapters other than I hold up like a £500,000. I take on a few extra £1 million that I would think to put high up. Maybe the final Olympus chapter. I don't know. I have to think about it. But next time on Dragon Ball Z, we will be. I can finally take it off my shelf and wait for this. Diving in to the last Olympian, and we will start the stream by talking about the cover art. I'm not going to talk about it too much right now, because I know it's a thing we do at the beginning of the streams for some reason, the beginning of new books. But I do really like this cover art, so I want to compare it to the other one. We're not going to do that right now. I'm not even going to look it up right now, but yeah, I think this one is going to be the longest one, possibly. So yeah, I am really freaking excited. So we wait in like 3-4 days. You might, but honestly, it just depends on my work schedule. I don't know when I'm going to be going into work. If I have time, I'm going to be doing this as soon as possible. I don't expect to be reading this book for longer than 2 days, to be completely honest with you. I expect to be blasting through this book. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm going to put up my stream schedule a day in advance this time instead of the same day, so you'll know. So you all be prepared when I'm ready to read The Last Olympian, which I can't believe I'm finally at the end. Like, not really, but I'm finally at the end of the first like saga of Jacksoning. You know what I mean? And I just looked it around. Every other synopsis title has started with last year. No, sorry, started with Percy Jackson. This one started with what's it called? Started with all year. So it's different. It's already a completely different vibe. Have you decided how many chapters you want to do on stream? Will you be reading structure since you're reading all of it on screen? Okay, yeah, this is a good time to talk about this. It's wild how the next series dwarfs these books in comparison to how long they are. Yeah, I've seen them; they're a lot bigger. Okay, but yeah, it's good. I'm talking about this. So I think we've decided that I'm probably going to be reading all of the Last Olympian chapters on stream. That's probably what I'm going to be doing. So, and that's what you guys want me to do. I'm happy to do that. So we're probably going to be reading 5 chapters at a time. That's what we're going to do. It's like, there's probably 20 chapters if it reads. So that's like 5, 10, 15, 20. That's 4 streams. if my math is proper. Yeah, so we'll probably end up reading 5 chapters at a time, 5 chapters per stream, because that's kind of what I've been doing for this one, and it's not that bad. I'm getting used to streaming longer, and it's not hurting my throat. And just to reduce the amount of streams, I really want to read all of this. That's what we're gonna be doing. So sad that I can't read any of it alone, but I honestly enjoy reading it with you guys more than reading it alone. But I would just get through it quicker reading it alone. But it's fine. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time regardless. I'm gonna enjoy the fuck out of it. Yeah, but I think that's all. I think that's all I have to say. I've ranked the books. I've said, like, yeah, for me it's like Titan's Curse, probably Sea of Monsters, and then the Lightning Thief right there. But yeah, so I think that's gonna do it for this stream, guys. Thank you once again for joining. It was a lot of fun reading with you guys as always. Can't wait to see you in a couple days for when I finally get to start The Last Olympian. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, I don't have any other words. So until next time, end of stream, guys. Later.